Hey family, welcome back to my video. Today we will see, what if Harry Potter was reincarnated as Rimuru Tempest the Slime? Before we start, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the original author. Your generosity is greatly appreciated. The author's creation and the original stories link in the descriptions. Please do check that first. Now enjoy the video. In a house, a young boy waits, having been starved for 3 weeks, eating almost nothing but the bare minimum to keep him alive. He waits for the others in the house to go to sleep before his uncle opens his cupboard. Vernon. Boy, listen and listen well. If you do anything while we sleep, I'll install the lock I got today Suni then planned, and you won't be able to come out for a month at the least. Do you understand me? The young boy with green eyes and a scar upon his head looks to his uncle. The boy is named Harry Potter, forced to live with these relatives. He looks to his uncle. Harry. Yes, Uncle Vernon. Vernon sneers at the boy before slamming the cupboard door, shutting it as Harry shits the light off and waits for the right time. His stomach growls at him, demanding food as he sits and waits. Hours pass before Harry thinks it's safe. He slowly and quietly makes his way out and towards the fridge, getting food and trying to get back. Unfortunately, the boy trips and hits the ground as he hears his uncle come down. As he looks up, he comes face to face with his uncle, who in his tired state becomes enraged. Reaching towards the door, he grabs a belt and begins beating the boy with it, even using it as a whip and hitting the boy's back until blood begins to pour out of the boy's back. Vernon grabs the boy and throws him into the cupboard and install the lock. Vernon. I warned you, boy. You will not be coming out of there for a month. Vernon says this with a red face. Just seeing the freak angers him. As he marches back upstairs, the boy lays on the broken bed in the cupboard as blood gets on the bed. Days without food pass as the sounds become infected, and Vernon leave Harry without food, and on the last day of the month his magic can sustain his body no more, as he cries himself to sleep, but not before he mutters something. Harry. I wish I had a family that actually loved me. A voice rings through the boy's mind. He is unable to understand what it's saying as everything goes dark for the boy, having been beaten too badly by his uncle. He closes his eyes until a bright light surrounds him. Harry opens his eyes to see a nice-looking woman looking down at him. Harry. Excuse me, but who are you? Harry says this in a panic before he stops in shock at what came out of his mouth. Cries, but not his. These cries belong to a baby. Thoughts run through Harry's mind a mile a minute, not sure what to make of this, but nevertheless time and life goes on. As years pass, Harry eventually figures that he may have been reborn thanks to some manga he found, becoming almost addicted to manga at the young age of 12 as nothing seems to happen to him, but he got his wish. As time continues to move forward, he is now 37 and meeting a co-worker who in his mind wants to show off his new girlfriend to Satoru. Satoru, the name his parents gave to him in this life. It's not a bad name. He really couldn't care less as his coworker arrives and, like he thought, begins showing her off and bragging. Satoru. Seriously, I've heard the term trophy wife. But you're not even married, so don't go to crazy. Jez, this guy. Screaming is heard as Satoru looks to the side, seeing someone running towards them. On instinct, Satoru pushes his coworker and girlfriend out of the way before he himself gets stabbed in the back. The knife is soon ripped out of him by the same guy who stabbed him, as he continues running, no doubt looking for another person to stab. Satoru falls to the ground, thoughts running through his mind, his wishes these times being far different. Then the last one, the same voice from before, rings through his head as he can finally understand it before darkness covers his vision, just like last time. After a while in darkness and figuring out that he was reborn as a slime, this time he meets the storm dragon Veldora, who gifts him the name Rimuru Tempest, as Rimuru had given him the name of Tempest, a name they both share. Life Veldora even taught Rimuru how to see in slime form as time marches forward. In the Potter world, an old man sits in his office sucking on some candy as alarms begin to sound, shaking the movie pictures on the wall. The old man jumps to his feet and moves to the entrance to his office with the grace and agility of a young 20-something arriving at a little house. He knocks on the door as Vernon is the one to open the door, and in a short amount of time sirens are blaring as the family is taken by the police and their son taken into an orphanage. As the old man pulls a stick out of his robe and swishing it around as a faint glow appears at the tip, he manages to walk away with Harry Potter's body, wondering how he could die by any other hand besides the Dark Lord's, a boy that the old man helped to teach before. Idea and a thought goes through the old man's mind. Old man. Neither can live while the other survives. With this, he rushes to have the boy's body taken care of and to get back to his office. Back to Rimuru. Rimuru sits at a round table being forced to come up with a new name for the demon lords as he killed one named Clayman and two retired Rimuru. Having joined their ranks and being the newbie, they decided he can name them the name he came up with, the 8-star demon lords. Getting the agreement, Rimuru's life continues unknown to him. How different time has flown in the 3 different worlds. Let me know what you think in the comments. Also, should I use seasons for this or something else? Part 2. A normal day for Rimuru, a special day for Hogwarts. Rimuru sits in an office head laying on the desk. Years have passed and here he is stuck in his office. Sometimes he wishes Yuki and the others who picked a fight with him were still around just for a little adventure. But then he remembers all the work it took for his peace. Rimuru leans up, putting his hands behind his head and closing his eyes as he thinks to himself. Rimuru. Maybe I could go pay a surprise visit to those kids at the school here. Replace their teacher for one day. I don't think I was a bad teacher. Gah, I need something to do. This is boring. Shuna. Rimuru-sama, it's time for lunch. Rimuru. Oh shit. Rimuru immediately sits correctly as he makes it look like he had been working. Rimuru. Come in with this. Shuna enters with a tray that she sits in front of him. Rimuru looks at it and is about to take a bite out of it before the door is busted off its hinges as it falls into the floor. A pink-haired demon lord Lol-I rushes in and steals his food. Rimuru. Sighs. Hello Milam. Milam. Hey Rimuru, let's go for something fun. Rimuru. As much as I would love to, I have work. Rimuru notices that Milam flinched a bit at the word work. Rimuru. You skipped out on Frey again, didn't you? Milam. No, I didn't. As this continues, a young woman with black hair enters the room. She wears white and has her hair tied in a ponytail that hits the side. She was also once upon a time one of Rimuru's students. Chloe. Rimuru-sensei. Oh, Chloe sees Milam bouncing around from the sugar treat she stole as she, in an attempt to get out of the conversation, shoots past Chloe and out a window. Chloe. Rimuru. Don't ask Chloe, right? Seal. The individual known as Milam is having a sugar rush. Evacuation may be needed. Seal. The evolution of Raphael, which is the evolution of Great Sage, gaining the name Seal and evolving further. Once Rimuru named Raphael. Rimuru get to his feet and walks towards the window. Milam rocketed out off. Rimuru. I'm going to take care of Milam. All right Shuna. Hi, I'll make another one for you. Chloe. Oh, can I help Shuna? That won't be needed. Before he can get caught up between the two, Rimuru rushes out the window and immediately finds her standing over Gobta, who is someone who doesn't know when to keep his mouth shut. Rimuru. Just great. Meanwhile, in a castle, several students begin to walk into said castle as the old man from before, Albus Dumbledore, stands at the front overlooking the students at their house tables. Dumbledore. Welcome, welcome. It is now time to choose our champions for the Triwizard Tournament. Meanwhile, Rimuru is back in his office and Chloe is sitting on a couch in the room as she looks up at Rimuru. Chloe. Something wrong? You flinch, not even waiting for the confirmation that something is wrong. Chloe is up and ready to defend Rimuru should she need to. She's been through hell to save him. She won't be letting something happen to him now. Rimuru. I'm fine. Chloe. Really? Chloe goes to sit back down. Rimuru. More importantly, I think I'm done working for today. Chloe. Then what will you do? Rimuru. I think I'm going to the hot spring. Chloe watches as Rimuru gets up and goes to walk out the door before she grabs his arm. Chloe. I'll go with you. Rimuru. Sure. Chloe. Can I carry you? Rimuru looks at Chloe and sighs, turning into his slime form and bouncing into Chloe's arms as Shuna comes back. The two have a glaring contest. Rimuru. Probably should have waited till we were outside. More important. I felt a tug. I wonder what's going on. Part 3. Rimuru's new adventure begins. Dumbledore has just called out the names of the champions as the fire turns blue as they all look at the goblet of fire strangely as a piece of paper shoots out. Dumbledore catches it, reading it. Dumbledore. Harry Potter. Dumbledore watches as those who heard him look at him in shock as the name begins to glow and then change. Dumbledore once again reads the paper again, saying a different name. Dumbledore. Rimuru Tempest. Meanwhile, Rimuru sits comfortably in his office looking over some things. Chloe sitting on the couch in the office as Rimuru feels a tug once more. Rimuru. That was weird. Meanwhile, fire continues shooting out of the goblet, creating a circle as they all look in shock and slight awe as the fire glows so intense even Dumbledore must take caution as Rimuru's eyes widen and a light begins to surround him. Chloe immediately jumps to Rimuru, calling his name as she manages to touch him before he disappears. Shuna and Xian walk in to see Rimuru and now Chloe glowing and then disappear as the two girls scream for Rimuru before he disappears. Chloe and Rimuru are now falling through what appears to be a light tunnel so bright that it hurts to keep their eyes open before slamming onto a hard floor. Rimuru goes to get up before Chloe falls on top of him. Chloe. I'm sorry Rimuru. It's okay Dumbledore. Two people? Rimuru looks up seeing the older man as Chloe gets off him and helps him up. Chloe. Sorry again, I didn't mean to land on you Rimuru-sensei. Rimuru. Like as said, it's fine. More importantly, where are we? Rimuru and Chloe look around in shock. Dumbledore. You are in Hogwarts. School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Rimuru. Chloe. A school. Dumbledore. Unfortunately I can't understand what your companion is saying. Rimuru looks to Chloe and says English. Chloe. Oh, right, sorry. Dumbledore looks at her strangely. Dumbledore. She spoke English without any magic involved. As if she had been speaking it for some time. A man with a scarred face looks to Dumbledore. Man, Albus. Dumbledore. Yes, of course. Knight, I ask which of you is Harry Potter? Rimuru perks up at the name, giving Dumbledore his answer. Dumbledore. I must ask that you come this way. I will of course explain everything in time. Rimuru about to say no, stops and simple motions to Chloe. Dumbledore. Ah yes. Your companion may stay here and enjoy the feast. Rimuru looks to Chloe, who doesn't look like she wishes to leave Rimuru's side. Rimuru. Stay here and don't cause trouble. Chloe looks almost insulted before sighing and nodding her head as Rimuru walks to the room that Dumbledore points at. Part 4. A champion walking down a set of stairs. Rimuru looks at all the trophies on the walls and pedestals. Rimuru. A trophy room. Why send me here? Seal. Husband. 3 others are in this room. Rimuru hums to himself before coming face to face with 3 people, 2 males, 1 female. Rimuru watches as the girl throws back her hair, walking up to him. Girl. What is it? Does they want us back in Z Hall? Rimuru. A accent, and from the way she's speaking I'd say French. At this several others walk in, arguing. A tall loud woman almost yelling at the older man that Rimuru, if he heard correctly, is named Albus, and from the way several are speaking to him Rimuru would say the name Albus Dumbledore. Rimuru. Strange name Dumbledore. Another man walks towards Rimuru almost in a hurry, shouting. Man. It's extraordinary he's been brought back from the dead though. Why does he have the appearance of a young woman? Another man walks past wearing all black, almost jokingly he says. Man. Perhaps Potter was so blessed he got another life after death. Rimuru looks at him and actually speaks. Rimuru. Actually that's true. Seeing no reason not to just say it, it would probably complicate things more if he didn't, so he tells them that yes, he did get another life after he died as Harry Potter, shocking all in the room. The girl from before walks towards him, looking him over. Girl. Reborn as a girl. Rimuru. I gotta thank you, Seal. Getting rid of her accent for me helps a lot now that I can actually understand her. Then it dawns on Rimuru what she said, looking at the girl. Rimuru. I'm not a girl. Second, my name is Rimuru Tempest. The girl looks at him in shock. This boy is far more beautiful than herself. She wonders if Rimuru is telling the truth about being a boy. Rimuru. Geez, and I have to deal with all this. Makes me wish someone was here to deal with this for me. Someone like. Wait, no, never mind, that go all sorts of wrong. Man. It is true. Then this is Harry Potter, and he is a Triwizard champion. Rimuru. W. What? I didn't sign up for some tournament. This is completely unfair. Rimuru looks at the adults in the room while the other 3 champions look in shock. Rimuru. Hey, I didn't sign up. That's not right. Why must I be a champion? Man. You have no choice. The Goblet of Fire creates a contract with the champions. I'm afraid by choice or not you are a Triwizard champion. Rimuru looks at him like he's a complete idiot. Rimuru. I'm sure I could just break it, but I was also complaining about being bored. Then again, this isn't exactly what I had in mind. Maybe I should just see where this goes. Rimuru is then told the rules of the tournament and the power of the Goblet of Fire, though they wonder why it brought him back. A man with a mustache says it may have been ancient summoning magic. Magic that they believe to be lost to them and will likely stay that way. After minutes of conversation, Rimuru is let go along with the others as he goes to try and Chloe to talk things over with her and seal. He is stopped by the old man. Dumbledore. Mr. Tempest. If I may have a word with you. I believe I have someone who would be interested in meeting you. 2 people. Rimuru looks back as the man in black seems to want to protest, allowing whoever these people are into the castle. Rimuru. That's fine, but I would like to bring Chloe if that's all right. Dumbledore. You mean the girl? Why yes, I believe that's fine. Rimuru. Right, Dumbledore. Professor McGonagall will lead you to my office once you have found Miss Chloe then. Rimuru nods as a lady with a green cloak follows him and glances at him. McGonagall. Mr. Page. Mr. Tempest. Rimuru looks back at her. McGonagall. I'm sorry for what happened to you. It takes Rimuru a few seconds to get what she means, figuring she is referring to his first death. Rimuru stops and turns to look at her fully with a smile on his face. Rimuru. It's okay, I don't blame you, so you don't really have anything to apologize for. McGonagall looks at the young man with the appearance of a beautiful girl, nodding her head as she follows to grab Chloe and then go to Dumbledore's office. As soon as they arrive in the Great Hall, Chloe jumps up and is almost immediately in front of Rimuru, almost having crashed into him. Chloe. Sue. What's the story? Rimuru. 1. I have to compete in a tournament. 2. We need to go to a office, and from the way everyone seems to treat him, if day he's the headmaster. Chloe. They're not anything like. You know. Chloe looks to McGonagall and instead of saying the name of the person she's thinking of, she simply hopes Rimuru will get what she means. Rimuru. Don't know yet, but I would say so, at least not yet. McGonagall coughs into her hand. McGonagall. Best we not be late this way. Rimuru. Right, let's go. Chloe. Hi. Part 5. Godfather. Rimuru and Chloe follow McGonagall to Dumbledore's office as McGonagall says someone. The creature in front of the office turns, revealing a staircase running up as they walk upwards. After McGonagall motions for them to do so, getting to a door and entering it, they see 4 people: Dumbledore and the man in all black from earlier. He appears to be glaring at a man in a purple trench coat as a man in an old-looking suit appears to be trying to stop the fight between the two. Man. Come on, Snivellus, don't be such a rugged man. Sirius, don't be rude. Sirius. Be quite Remus. Snivellus. Must you two always behave like a old married couple? Sirius. Why don't you run along and play with your chemistry set? Snivellus. Remus. Sirius, we are grown men, we should behave as such. Dumbledore. I must agree with Remus. Sirius. Severus, calm yourselves. Rimuru. This is uncomfortable. Chloe shuts the door behind herself and Rimuru, getting everyone's attention as they stop arguing and look at the two, Sirius and Remus, eyes landing on Rimuru. Sirius. Harry. Rimuru. Rimuru watches as Sirius runs at him. Chloe watches this, ready to defend Rimuru, but if her feeling is right, she won't need to, at least not with this man, as Sirius goes to hug Rimuru before stopping and thinking about it. Sirius. I'm Harry. Sorry, it's Rimuru now. That will take us some getting used. I'm Sirius Black. You probably don't know this, but when you were first born, here, I was named your godfather. I would have taken you with me to raise. But things happened. I was only recently freed, only to find that you had died. I'm so sorry. I failed you. I should have been there and I wasn't. Rimuru. Hey, it's okay, really. Look, it's nice to meet you, Sirius. My name is Rimuru Tempest. Remus. Hello there. Rimuru. Correct, my name is Remus Lupin. I was another friend of your parents. Rimuru. Hi, it's nice to meet ya. Rimuru shakes Remus' hand as Rimuru looks to Sirius. Rimuru. Sue. Godfather. Remus. I believe Dogfather works better. Sirius looks to Remus in a way that says shut up, as the man in black, from what Rimuru heard, his name is Severus, sneers and walks out of the office as they all talk before a portal opens above Rimuru, shocking all of them as bodies fall on Rimuru, forcing him to the ground. As Dumbledore looks in pure confusion, how could anyone make it through the wards at Hogwarts? It should be impossible, as Sirius seems to look from Rimuru, who is now buried in a bunch of bodies, several of which begin crying and saying Rimuru over and over and hugging him, to Remus, and shrugs and snickers to himself. Part 6. Introductions Shuna and Shion. Rimuru-sama, we were worried. The two shake Rimuru back and forth as everyone save for them and Rimuru get up and form a line. Rimuru. I missed you guys too, but maybe don't shake me so hard, okay? Getting that they should probably stop, they let Rimuru go, who stands up and offers his hands to the two who accepted and are now up. Rimuru. Sorry about all that anyway, I should probably introduce all of you, huh? Sirius looks to the female and them at Rimuru before looking back and Remus and looking like he's about to die from joy. His godson even in another life is a ladies' man. Sirius. And here I was thinking he was married to that black-haired girl, but he's got a whole bunch. James. James the first, hope you're able to see this now. Remus. Sigh, I know that look. Oh dear Dumbledore. Yes, a introduction would be very welcomed. Rimuru. Right, well, this one who's trying to sneak up behind me is Veldora. He's a shut-in, so don't let his muscles fool ya. Veldora. W. What, I'm not a shut-in, I opened the portal to come after you. We're sworn friends, remember, BFF, remember. Rimuru. I'm only joking, Veldora, haha, calm down and don't look so sad. Veldora. Oh. Wait, that's right, we were supposed to tell you. Rimuru. What is it, Veldora? Well, our world's time seems to be, oh, what did he say? It's different now. Shuna. He means that our world and this world, our times have synchronized, so day here is day in our world and night here is night in our world. And Veldora. A few other things that aren't important. Veldora holds up his hand as if looking through a magnifying and gets really close to Rimuru. Veldora. I think it's the magic that summoned you here. Rimuru. W. What? Ain't that bad for the planet for time to change like that? Shuna. Rimuru-sama, there's no need to worry. The other demon lords and mages from across the world are working to make sure our world doesn't suffer. A few even think that if whatever it is that brought you here is either destroyed or the contract of the magic is complete and you come home, then everything will be fine. Sirius. Go back. Wait, he can't just, they can't. What am I thinking? Look at him. He's happy just talking to them. So long as he's happy. Right, still maybe I should tag along. I missed so much. And wasn't there for him. So there's a chance he won't even want me there with him. I'll ask. Before he goes. Dumbledore. Go back. No, not likely, we just got him back and he must be the one to defeat the Dark Lord. But then I also have hurt this boy in ways I don't even wish to imagine. Perhaps. I have become far too much like you were. Willing to truly do whatever it takes. For my vision of the future. I wonder if perhaps I ask him. If he would assist. In defeating Tom. Rimuru. So I just got to go back, huh, and our times will go back to normal, Shuna. That was the theory, but there isn't much to truly go off of. Seal. Report Chloe will likely have to return as well for everything to return to the way it was as she was dragged here with you. Rimuru. But she's not part of the tournament, Seal. Yes, husband, but to be safe it is better that all of the individuals from our world return to our world at the same time. Rimuru. Geez, maybe it's a good thing they lost their summoning magic. Taking people from their homes is wrong anyway. After a bit more though, Rimuru perks up. Rimuru. Oh right, I still need to finish the introductions, right, like as said, this guy here is Veldora. Veldora Tempest. Sirius. They share the same last name. Remus. The look those two give each other. Reminds me of how Sirius and James would look at each other when they got idea. I think it's safe to say that your son made a friend for life. Rimuru moves over to the next person in line. Rimuru. This one here is Shuna. She's great at cooking and making clothes. In fact, she's the one that made the clothes I'm wearing now. She also does a bunch of other things, but I'd rather get introductions done. Shuna gives a small bow. Shuna. It's very nice to meet you all. Moving over once more. Rimuru. This one here is Diablo. He's kinda like my own personal butler. And he is really one hell of a butler. Diablo gains a full-blown smile at Rimuru praise as he places a hand over his heart and gives a small bow, but on the inside he's screaming like a fangirl meeting their celebrity crush and getting called pretty by them. Moving over once more, serious eyes almost shoot out from his eye sockets from the size. Rimuru. This one is Shion. She's my first secretary and original bodyguard. Shion looks smug as she straightens her back, a cocky but happy smile on her face. Moving over once more, Rimuru stops at the next one. Rimuru. This next one is a very good boy. A tail wags, but after learning from past mistakes it wags slowly. Rimuru. His name's Ragna. Rimuru pets Ranga's head as the good doggo moves closer to the touch as Rimuru stops. A bit of whining escapes from Ranga as Rimuru stops in front of Chloe. Rimuru. And for those who don't know, this is Chloe Aubert. She's an old student of mine back when I was a teacher. Rimuru smiles thinking back. Rimuru. It wasn't for long but it was fun. The others all say hello as after a bit more conversation, they determine that they will be needing a place to stay, not wanting to fail his godson again. Sirius almost jumps at the opportunity to say they can stay with him before Dumbledore says they have some rooms they can stay in so that Rimuru can be close for the tournament. After a bit more conversation they let go and make their way to the rooms they were given. Turns out that the founders of Hogwarts made extra rooms in the case that something went terribly wrong with the originals. They're warned that since nobody has entered since the time of the founders they may be a bit dusty, but they say it's fine and move to the dorm. They're told to go to Rimuru. Stops and turns a rune. Rimuru. Thank you for the rooms. With this Rimuru leaves. As Dumbledore sits back and watches Sirius and Remus talk about having Rimuru, or Harry as they are calling him, how well Sirius is calling him, saying how much work that's going to take to get used to. Dumbledore. Strange. As many times as I thought of reading the boy's mind, I could never get through. He has impressive mental barriers. Part 7. A day with Sirius. Rimuru sits and waits for night to turn into day as B sits in his slime form on a bed being cuddled by Sheehan and Shuna with Chloe in the middle. Rimuru. I thought they were supposed to sleep in a different room. How did they get in mine? Rimuru lets out a soft sigh as he allows his mind to move to different subjects. Rimuru. I wonder what this tournament will be like. I don't think it will be easy, but I don't think they would make it too hard either. The people who were supposed to participate are students, so should just go easy in the tournament. And what to do? I shouldn't go too easy either. As night turns to day everyone gets up and begins moving around as Shuna comes up behind Rimuru, who is still in slime form. Shuna. Rimuru-sama. Rimuru looks back at Shuna, who has clothes in her hands. Rimuru thanks her, jumping into her hands and absorbing the clothes and transforming into his human form. Damn, those clothes look good in black. Deciding that it's for the best, Rimuru puts his sword into his stomach and gets ready to leave the room while the others are still getting ready. Rimuru waits for them, and once they're all ready they leave, walking down the staircase in the castle looking at all the moving paintings. As they make it to the bottom of the staircase and are about to head somewhere, a giant set of doors seem to be open. It looks like the students are having a feast. As Dumbledore spots all of them he gets up and makes his way to all of them. Notice Ranga isn't with them. He wonders where the wolf had gone off to. Dumbledore. Rimuru, my boy, why don't you and you companions have breakfast? Rimuru feels Shuna gaze on him as he puts his hands up. Rimuru. I'm afraid I'll have to pass. Dumbledore. Well, if you are truly sure, but I must say the food is marvelous. Rimuru. I don't doubt that, but I'm good. Dumbledore. Very well, so you know classes are about to start, so you may not simple roam the halls for the time being, or I can have Sirius come and gather you so you may readjust. Rimuru. That would be great, thanks. Dumbledore leads them to his office and seems to speak into his fireplace as he motions for them to take a bit of sand and say the name Diagon Alley. They all do so as Rimuru goes last and is shot out of the fireplace. Luckily he slams into Veldora, knocking both onto the ground as Rimuru shakes his head. Rimuru. Wow, talk about a way to travel. Sirius. You like that? Then you should travel by port key. Rimuru. A what? Remus. A port key? It's a Sirius. Don't tell him, let it be a surprise. Rimuru. Why don't I like the sound of that? After that Sirius and Remus show the group around Diagon Alley. Noticing that they don't seem very surprised or impressed, they even get some ice cream and the group don't seem to like the flavor. Sirius. Say, what do you think is wrong with your friends? I thought they may like ice cream. Rimuru. Oh yeah, they do, it's just complicated, let's go with that. Sirius and Remus gain looks of confusion. How could ice cream be complicated? It's ice cream unknown to them, as Rimuru seems a little worried that they may say the reason they don't like it is worried, and the ice cream vendor is upset that they don't seem to like his ice cream. Shuna, Sheehan, Chloe, Veldora, Diablo. It doesn't have the taste of Rimuru-sama, sensei. Veldora just calls him Rimuru. All magic. And with that they spend the day looking over things until Rimuru sees some people lifting things with sticks. Rimuru. What are? Are those wands serious? You say that like you don't have a wand. Rimuru. Well ya see. Serious. What? Remus covers his ears, already expecting that reaction. Serious. You don't have a wand, then how do you do magic? Unless it's wand-less, I don't think you'll be doing much, so then how do you? Rimuru. Like this. Rimuru raises his hands as he shoots ice into the sky from his hands, shocking the two. Remus. Don't do that again. Luckily no one seemed to be paying attention, but simply doing magic like that will be bound to gather a great deal of attention. Serious. That's true. Serious is still looking up. Serious. Okay, about we get you a wand. Rimuru tilts his head as the next thing he knows they're all in a wand shop. To be continued. Let me know what you think in the comments please. Part 8. Special Order. Rimuru stands in a building looking at all the dust that is on the floor and the like. Rimuru. Why are we here exactly? Serious. For a wand. Rimuru. Okay. But why? I don't really need one, and I'm not from this world anymore. Don't you think they'd think that the other world would have different magic? Remus. That is not the issue, it's a simple thing really. Well, for one, Serious wishes to buy you something you can keep with you. And there's the wand weighing that all champions must do. Rimuru. Sigh, more traditions. Really, I mean, I'm all for traditions, but this is just getting old. First I have to compete, now I got to get a wand. I won't even use what's next, a dance. Remus and Serious look at each other and try to hide a smile. This doesn't go unnoticed by Rimuru. Rimuru. Oh, for the love of Rimuru. Well, it's a good thing I had them stand outside while we went in here. The only one who would be able to tell any of them anything about the dance would be Ranga. Don't betray me, Ranga. Seal. Request. I would like to be husband's date to this dance. I also believe we should investigate it further. Rimuru. Oh, this is going to start a fight. Breaking Rimuru from his train of thought, a later rolls on a track before coming to a stop as an older man stands on it. Rimuru, having read the name on the building, believes this is Ollivander. Ollivander. Ah, Mr. Potter. Or rather Mr. Tempest, a pleasure at least. Rimuru watches the man immediately set out to finding a wand. Ollivander. It seems only yesterday that James and Lily were in here buying their first wands. He takes out a box and brings it to Rimuru, who has his eyebrows raised as he is handed a wand, but as soon as his hand makes contact with the wand it explodes, shocking everyone at the noise, and the group outside look inside to see what had happened to the remains of a brown wand. Ollivander. This is new, let us try a few other combinations, shall we? I believe Lord Black is the one paying for everything. Sirius perks up at this as he begins to wonder how much this is going to cost. And here he was thinking it would be simple, but now that he thinks about it, he did watch the boy perform wand-less magic, so maybe. Pop. Sirius jumps at the sound of another breaking wand as Remus looks to Sirius, who looks at him, seeing the smirk on his friend's face. Sirius. Not a word, Remus. Oh, of course not, Padfoot. Pop. Ollivander. Strange indeed. I may need to make a special one for you. Rimuru. Make one, and how long would that take? Ollivander. Mr. Tempest, even I can tell just how strong you magic just from this. I'll have to try and combine 2 cores, and I'll need a strong material for that. Luckily there is such a material, but is not cheap. I would say about a week. Rimuru. Right, thank you then, Ollivander. Of course, my boy, now I must get to work. Ollivander looks to Sirius, who goes to get to paying for every wand that was broken as well as the special made wand to have it made. Remus. Rimuru, shall we head outside? Rimuru. All right then. The two head outside to see a blonde-haired man trying to start something with Rimuru group, that is, until Rimuru focuses on the man and unleashes a small bit of his demon lord aura on him, causing the man to go pale and run. Rimuru. Who was that? Remus. That would be Lucius Malfoy. Seems he thought he could bully your group. Wonder what got into him. Rimuru looks up with an innocent smile. Rimuru. Who knows? Rimuru heads over to his group and makes sure everything is alright as Remus stands there in wonder as Sirius come out. Sirius. What's wrong? Did something happen? Moony Remus. Lucius appeared to be trying to start something before he ran. Sirius. Well, who made him run? I'd like to thank them for that. Could never stand that man. Remus laughs slightly as Sirius pats him on the shoulder, and the two go back to join the others. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 9. Leaving Diagon Alley. Rimuru asks to look around for a bit longer and luckily somehow gets his way and even gets to move around alone as Rimuru looks around and sees a broomstick on display. Rimuru. You're kidding. They actually ride brooms. Seeing another store full of books, Rimuru goes to look at the broomsticks before he overhears a conversation. Man. Get out of our society, you're filthy and an insult to our world just like your mud-blood mother. Crying of a child fills the alley. Rimuru overheard the conversation as Rimuru goes to look. A kid runs into him without even thinking. The child latches onto Rimuru to cry her eyes out as Rimuru looks at the grown men that made the child cry. Man. What? A girl? Man too. Look at her hair weights. That's Potter. Man. What? Yes, I see. I remember reading about him returning from some other world in the paper. Man too. What do you want, Po? With a simple glare, the two grown men turn and run from Rimuru begging for forgiveness, but Rimuru doesn't care about that. Instead, he gets on one knee and pats the girl's head, allowing her to cry before he asks where the girl's parents are. Getting the answer that the girl got lost, Rimuru agrees to help find her parents. It doesn't take long to find them as the mother immediately takes the girl into her arms. As for the father. Father. You're Harry Potter. Heir. Sorry, I mean Rimuru Tempest. Correct, you were in the Daily Prophet. I read about your return. It's nice to finally meet you. Rimuru. Yes, it's nice to meet you as well. Shaking the man's hand, Rimuru soon leaves the girl behind with her family, but the girl thanks him before he leaves, but a thought does linger in his mind. Rimuru. Mudblood, huh? From the way they said it, it's an insult. Rimuru walks by the bookstore and decides that maybe he'll get a few books. Sirius did give him a few gallons. Walking into the library, a bell rings as the clerk looks up at Rimuru, shocked at who just entered. The man looked like he's about to run at Rimuru and thank him several times over for what Rimuru doesn't know, but he simply waves and the man waves back, starstruck as Rimuru gets to looking around, soon making his way upstairs. Rimuru. No, boring. Harry. Wait, what? Rimuru stops and pulls out the book that said Harry Potter. Rimuru. The Legendary Adventures of Harry Potter. Looking up and seeing others, some even seem to be placed where he can see a cover of a young boy fighting a dragon. Rimuru looks back down at the book in his hand and flips through a few pages. A look of sheer confusion passes his face. Rimuru. They can't actually believe this stuff, can they? How could a kid do any of this? Rimuru flips onto a page that catches his interest. Reading through it, it claims that as a baby at the sight of his dead parents, the baby filled with rage defeated you-know-who. Rimuru. Okay, this is completely ridiculous. Who believes this junk? How could a baby beat? Who the hell is you-know-who anyway? A name would be nice. Rimuru puts the book back, deciding that he's had enough. He goes to leave as the clerk looks at him. Clerk. Are you not going to be buying anything, Mr. Tempest? Rimuru sighs and grabs a random book, seems to be about plants, and takes it over to the clerk, paying for it and being on his way. Rimuru. Actually looking around now. That may explain why I've been getting a few weird looks. When we first got here, no one really noticed because I was surrounded, but now that I'm alone. Rimuru looks around, seeing several wizards and witches looking at him in awe like they've just met a superhero for the first time. Rimuru. This is just weird. Rimuru train of thought is cut off as a man runs to him, hand extended, forcing Rimuru hand up and shaking it. Man. Welcome back, Mr. Potter. Welcome back at long last. It's with this that several others make their way to shake his hand as Rimuru looks completely confused. Rimuru. Seal. Yes, husband Rimuru. I'm not imagining this, am I? They really think a baby killed somebody. Seal. It is not your imagination. They're shaking you hands. Rimuru hand continues to be shaken as his thoughts run all over the place. There are even several older witches that seem to be making passes at him. Luckily Sirius and the others decided to get him, then getting him out of there and at a house through a fireplace. Rimuru. Okay. First, thank you. Second, got a question. I heard something that grabbed my attention. What's a mud blood? Sirius looks at Rimuru, then sighs. Sirius. It means a dirty blood. It's a Remus. It's a less than polite word for someone who is Muggle-born. Shuna. What is a Muggle? Sirius. It's someone who was born not having any magical parents. Someone without magic in the bloodline is another way of explaining it. Your mother. Lily, she was a Muggle-born. And your father was a pure blood. Neither he or I really bought into the pure blood notions. Rimuru. So then it's like being a racist. Remus. In a way, yes. The pure bloods. Save for few are not exactly accepting people. Anyone who isn't a wizard or witch is usually beneath them. Even half-bloods, which is what you would have been, but they have a special hate for Muggleborns. A small thing comes into the room yelling about bringing people such as these into the mistress house, under his breath saying several things Rimuru doesn't understand and doesn't wish to understand. He is about to bump into Chloe before a glare from Rimuru stops him in his tracks. Rimuru about to say something before Sirius interrupts. Sirius. Creature, away with you. The little creature walks away mumbling about how he lives to serve the noble house of Black, though you can tell he doesn't wish to listen to Sirius. Sirius. Sorry about him. He never was very kind, especially to me. Rimuru. What? Is he serious? He's a house elf. Well, they're in a way slaves to their family. Believe me, I would try to free him if I could. But let's just say it's complicated. Rimuru. Slave's blood status forced into a tournament against my will. This is really becoming a headache. Hopefully it doesn't get worse. Part 10. Back to Hogwarts. Rimuru and the others are getting ready to return to Hogwarts as the day begins to come to an end. As Rimuru walks into a room seeing several names on the walls with pictures, though some of the pictures are burned. Sirius. Hello. Rimuru. Oh. Sorry, I just saw the names and thought I'd. Sirius. It's no problem at all. Have you found my name by chance? Rimuru looks around and sees it with the burned picture. Sirius. My mother did that. She wanted me disowned. It didn't play out the way she wished it to. Rimuru looks serious before asking him a question. Rimuru. You said you were my godfather. Rimuru notices that Sirius had flinched at the word were. Sirius. Past tense. Rimuru. Sorry, Sirius. No, it's fine. I was your godfather, yes. Like I said, I had failed horribly. Rimuru. What happened, Sirius? It's not a memory I enjoy reliving. But you do have a right to know. James and Lily went into hiding. They were hiding from Voldemort. Using a spell to hide them, they needed someone to know where they would be. It's called a secret keeper. James wanted me to be the secret keeper. I, on the other hand, well, I thought I was the obvious choice. So we chose someone else, using me as a decoy. Well, it so happened that the person we choose to be the true secret keeper, someone we thought to be our friend, well, he wasn't really a friend at all. I had left you with Hagrid. You'll meet him. He's good person, so don't worry. But my mistake was not trying to take care of you. Instead I went for revenge, and soon I was off to Azkaban. It's... Rimuru watches as Sirius closes his eyes, already getting the idea of what it was like. Sirius. I hadn't known what has happened until I was freed. That's even then I didn't kill him. Remus and Dumbledore had kept me from doing that. Though once I found out what had happened, let's just say that Remus had to keep an eye on me. I'm sorry I wasn't there. Rimuru. It's alright. Besides, I've lived 2 different lives and both have been good. Besides, you're free now, right? Rimuru pats Sirius on the shoulder. Rimuru. It's strange, but he does really seem to care, and he does seem like he regrets what ended up happening. But Voldemort, strange name. Rimuru. Tell me, do you think this Voldemort is still alive? Sirius. I have my beliefs. Yes, I do think he's alive, though I do not know the condition he is in. I would say he's building his strength. I believe it's time for you to be heading back. The first task will be happening soon. Rimuru. Write the tournament. Wonder what I'll have to do. Sirius. I'm afraid I don't have an answer for that, but I do feel the need to tell you, be careful. I don't know how your name got in that goblet, but I do think it was a Death Eater. Rimuru. What? A Death Eater? Do they eat death? Sirius. No, they're the followers of Voldemort. Listen, people have died in this tournament. Don't let your guard down. Rimuru. They let students compete in a tournament that people die in. Okay, I have a big problem with that. Rimuru. Okay, first you're telling me that they let students die. Sirius. The tournament. Realizing that Rimuru isn't listening and is instead about to go on a rant, Sirius quiets down. About to rant until the door opens. Diablo standing there, getting Rimuru's attention. Diablo. Rimuru-sama, it's time to go now. Rimuru. Right, I'll be there soon. With a bow, Diablo leaves the room. Sirius. I have a question for you. Rimuru. What is it, Sirius? The way those people behave. It's like a servant, especially that man. What is your relationship with them? Rimuru scratches the side of his cheek. Rimuru. Well, Chloe, the black hair girl. She was a student of mine. Serious. You were a teacher, Rimuru. Yeah, pretty surprising, huh? The others. Well, I said before in Dumbledore's office. Though I guess I didn't exactly say that they do kinda serve me. Serious. Oh, Rimuru. Yeah, I'm kinda like a king. I guess, but why do you want to know? Serious. A king. A bit of laughter escapes Sirius until he notices Rimuru not being amused. Serious. I'm sorry, it's just. Well, I've learned that if you want to know more about a man, you should look at the way he treats his inferiors, not the way he treats his equals. Rimuru. I wouldn't say they're really inferior, they're kinda like family, ya know. Serious. And that's how one can tell who a good person is, so I would say. Your parents would be proud of the person you are. Rimuru. Thanks Remus, who was standing outside to get Sirius to let go of Rimuru so they could go, smiles softly. Meanwhile, Dumbledore sits behind a desk as he looks at several papers as his fireplace lights up as Rimuru and his group come out. Rimuru. Sorry about being so late. Scratching the back of his head, Rimuru lets out an awkward laugh at seeing few of the papers that went flying. Rimuru assuming it was them, but with a wave of his hand Dumbledore brings back the papers. Dumbledore. It's not a problem at all. Rimuru notices a smaller, rounder man standing on the opposite end of Dumbledore's desk and Moody standing against a wall. Man. Rimuru, how good it is to meet you, Rimuru. It's nice to meet you. Rimuru. Judging by the way he's dressed, he's either someone in charge of something important or he has a lot of money. Dumbledore. Ah yes, Mr. Tempest, this is Cornelius Fudge, he is the Minister of Magic. Rimuru. So in charge of the government from the sound of it. Rimuru. I see, well, sorry to interrupt your conversation, we're be going. Rimuru and his group are about to leave the room before Dumbledore stops them. Dumbledore. Before you do go, I have a few things for you. Dumbledore holds up something that is wrapped in a key. Dumbledore. This key is the key to your vault at Gringotts. In this bag is another key and... well, it's something that belonged to your father. I believe it's time it returned to the family. Rimuru takes the key and the wrapped item, feeling it, noticing that it feels like cloth. Rimuru. Thank you. The group leave the room much to Fudge's dismay. Rimuru. From what I've seen, if he's in charge, a few things need some work, and right now I'm not exactly interested in talking to him. I think I'll look into this tournament, but first. Rimuru looks at the warping in his hands with interest. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 11. Library. Rimuru and the others sit in their room as he takes the wrapping off of the cloth, revealing a cloak. Rimuru. Strange, Sheehan. A cloak. Diablo. Yes, and a rather strange one, I must say. Lord Rimuru, shall I be used for a test to see what it does? Realizing put Lord Rimuru. Realizing I'm too tired to change it to Sama. Rimuru. No, I got it. Standing on, Rimuru wraps the cloak around his body as all but his head disappears. Shuna. Rimuru Sama, you're invisible. Rimuru. Huh? Okay, but why have a cloak do this? Yeah, think you could do something different, maybe make it a ring. Well, whatever. Rimuru takes the cloak off and folds it before setting it on a chair and having a thought. Rimuru. I'm pretty sure that old man did something to it. Maybe something to track me. He probably also wants me to go looking around late at night with it, but the rules for students don't apply to me, so that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Rimuru. Alright, I'm going. Shuna. Going where? Rimuru Sama. Rimuru. Apparently this tournament isn't safe for the students. I kinda feel like I need to do the responsible thing and look for any information on the first task and see if it's safe enough. If it is, I won't tell them. If it's not, I'll let them know. Simple. Sheehan. Not safe thoughts run through Sheehan's mind. Chloe. Do you think someone will end up dying? Rimuru. Who knows? Sirius told me that it's happened in the past though. Rimuru says this before leaving, heading towards the library in the school. Rimuru. Maybe I can find something there. Rimuru enters the library, getting a few strange looks from the few students that are in the library as he makes his way towards a bunch of books on a shelf, grabbing a few that look like they may have something before going to find a place to read them. Finding an empty table in the back to sit at, Rimuru does so as he flips through some of the pages before he's interrupted by a girl with bushy hair. Girl. Excuse me, would you mind if I joined you? Rimuru looks up at the girl, looking around slightly, seeing several open places. He shrugs as if to say do what you want before he goes back to reading, before the girl keeps him from doing so. Girl. So is it true? You really are Harry Potter? Rimuru lets out a sigh as if hoping it would get the girl to leave him alone so he can focus on what he's doing, but he knows that's not going to happen just from the look in her eyes. Rimuru. My name is Rimuru Tempest, now not Harry Potter. Girl. Well, my name is Hermione Granger. I've read about you, you know. Rimuru raises eyebrow. Rimuru. Does she mean from the books I found at that bookstore? Rimuru. Oh, that right. Rimuru looks back at the books as Hermione looks at him and then at the book Rimuru is reading. As Rimuru flips to another page, he sees a bit about a champion finishing a task by becoming an animal and then a bit of information about the transformation. Rimuru. Hermione. Reading about the tournament. Rimuru sets the book down. Rimuru. Yes, Hermione. Well, I don't really know how much help the past will be. I heard that they attempt to keep the challenges different for each tournament. But that's just what I've been told, but there are a number of books that could help give you idea about what you are likely going to be going against. I can get them for you. Rimuru. That would be nice, thanks. Rimuru watches as Hermione goes and grabs a few books. Rimuru. What is this girl's deal anyway? After a bit of time goes by, Hermione returns with some books before she leaves Rimuru alone to read them. Looking around, Rimuru sees no one around at all. Rimuru. Seal. Seal. We're alone. Rimuru. Alright then. Part 12, Dragons. Rimuru sets all the books back with a smile on his face as he leaves the library. Rimuru. Good thinking, Seal, you're the best. Smug Seal noises. Rimuru snickers to himself, noticing Seal, who seems to be enjoying the praise she's getting. As Rimuru is about to get to his room, a boy with bright red hair runs up to him. Boy. Hi, Hagrid wants to see you. Rimuru. Who? Time skip. Rimuru now stands in front of what appears to be a hut. As Rimuru knocks on the door, a man who is rather large opens the door. Hagrid. Ah, hello, Harry. Rimuru, you know the last time I saw you, you were just a baby. Rimuru. Rimuru is scooped up and hugged. Rimuru. Geez, this guy's got a grip. If I were a human, I think I may have a few broken bones. Or maybe have my spine broken. Rimuru looks up, trying to see the large man through all the hair, but he can see a few tears falling onto the beard and making their way down to Rimuru's face. Man. I was angry when I heard about what had happened to you. Wanted to go there myself and hive those muggles a good piece, but Dumbledore, good man he is, took care of it. Rimuru. Right, could you, man? Oh, Rimuru is let down as he whips the tears off his face that belong to the large man. Rimuru. Just to make sure you're Hagrid, right? Hagrid. That's right, keeper of keys and grounds here at Hogwarts. Rimuru points to himself. Rimuru Tempest. Hagrid, shocked face. Yes, I've heard about that. Changing your name, why would you do that? Rimuru. I'm sorry, what? Hagrid? You changed your name, why? You're Harry Potter. Rimuru looks at Hagrid, confused. Rimuru. I'm Rimuru Tempest. I was Harry Potter. It's a different life. So it's a different name. Rimuru takes note of Hagrid not really getting it and sighs. Rimuru. How does someone not get that it should be simple? Rimuru looks up at Hagrid. Rimuru. At any rate, why did you want to see me? Hagrid. Ah, yes, you've brought your dad's old cloak, right? Rimuru. How did he? Rimuru holds up the cloak as he watches Hagrid smile before he looks at Rimuru, staring at his head mostly. Hagrid. Blimey, why is your hair like that? Blue? Rimuru. Hagrid. What did you do to cause that? Rimuru. Nothing, it's just blue. Hagrid. Is that right? Well, get under your cloak, I want to show ya something as an apology. Rimuru covers himself in the cloak. Rimuru. Why'd I have to wear this though? Sigh. Rimuru follows Hagrid into the forest as the two appear to walk for a number of minutes before something bright shoots upward. Rimuru. Was that fire? Rimuru looks at Hagrid, wondering what this is all about before a woman shows up and Hagrid and her begin talking. Rimuru. If I remember right, isn't that supposed to be one of the headmasters? She was there when they announced me a champion. Wait, did Hagrid want me to play wingman? I don't want to see this. Hagrid shows the girl something as she gasps. Rimuru rolls his eyes as he looks, his own eyes widening as he hears Hagrid talking about the first task. Rimuru. Seal. Hi, Rimuru. They have students in this tournament, right? Seal. Yes, Rimuru. And dragons usual rank pretty high, right? Seal. Yes, Rimuru. They're crazy, there is no way these kids are going to take a dragon on in combat. They're going to die. Wait. Maybe it's not a fight, maybe it's a puzzle. Or a race. Or literally anything else that doesn't involve kids fighting a dragon. Without Rimuru even noticing, the dragons all seem to behave immediately different once he's as close as the two giants, behaving scared as if there is something that could easily kill them all. It's then Rimuru notices that his irritation allowed a bit of his aura to leak out, so he quickly stops that. Rimuru. Whoops. Part 13. Wand completed. Found this picture, thought I'd share anyway. Onto the story. Dumbledore sits in his office as he has something sitting on the table in front of him, a feather. A phoenix feather. As he grabs it, careful not break it or harm it, as he puts it in a case and begins making his way out of the castle. Dumbledore. Hopefully I am not delayed to give this to him. Meanwhile, location Ollivander's wand shop. In the back of the shop, Ollivander is hard at work to create a wand for the difficult Rimuru Tempest, something strong enough to stand up to his power. Almost excited for this, someone with so much power has to have a wood string enough to stand up to him. And a core capable of handling the magic. The issue he now faces. He cannot seem to decide what core to use. He had thought of allowing the boy to take the brother wand to the one that had killed his original parents. But he doubts that the wood could stand up to the power that boy possesses. He closes his eyes for a moment when a bell sounds, indicating someone has come into his shop. Working his way to meet with who has entered, he sees Albus Dumbledore. Ollivander. Ah. Dumbledore, can I help you? I do hope you are not here because you did the unthinkable. Dumbledore. No. The wand is fine. Ollivander. No, I came because I believed I could help with the creation of Mr. Tempest's wand with this core here. Dumbledore holds up a box as Dumbledore holds it out for Ollivander to take. Doing so, Ollivander sees a feather. Ollivander. Another feather. Dumbledore. Yes. Ollivander. I do not believe one feather may be enough. Dumbledore. This causes Dumbledore to raise eyebrow. Ollivander. That boy is a strong one. He'll do great things. Or perhaps he's already done them. I had thought of using dragon heartstring, but perhaps I could try something. Dumbledore nods as he soon leaves as Ollivander gets to work. As he sighs, looking to the side, seeing several different types of woods, he begins working once more as Dumbledore arrives back at Hogwarts, seeing Rimuru chasing down the other champions, most likely to attempt to warn them. Dumbledore. I'm happy he has a good heart. I am curious on how he'll handle the dragon that he faces. As day turns to night, Ollivander has completed the wand that had been commissioned for Rimuru Tempest. Made of English oak with 2 cores, a phoenix feather, and dragon heartstring. Ollivander hopes English oak will be strong enough to handle Rimuru. After all, English oak was the same wood that Merlin had for his own wand. Ollivander can only hope that the wand will choose Rimuru. After all, the wand chooses the wizard. As he sets the wand in a box, Ollivander moves to grab another box, opening it to find the unsold big brother to the wand he just made, and the wand that has killed so many. Ollivander wonders if perhaps he should take this with him when he goes to deliver the newly made wand and see if perhaps it can stand up to Rimuru. But at the same time, he doesn't wish to see it explode. Ollivander closes his eyes, thoughts running through his mind. Scene change. Rimuru is returned to the room, followed by the others as Rimuru transforms into slime form and resting on the bed. Rimuru. Geez, those kids, I swear it's like they ran from me. Diablo. Master, why did you offer them this knowledge? Rimuru. They're kids that are going to be facing dragons. I can't exactly just do nothing with that knowledge. And if I'm right and we all go at the dragons separately, then they should at least know what they're going to be up against. Shuna. I believe it was kind. Shuna picks up Rimuru and hugs him close. Rimuru. That said, it's kinda messed up that 2 already knew and had no intention of giving any of the others some knowledge. I mean, come on, I get wanting to have an advantage, but what if something bad happened because they didn't know what they were going against? Rimuru sighs as Shuna rubs her hand against him in an attempt to soothe him. Rimuru. Still. Finding out dragons here are endangered, that's kinda sad. I don't want to have to kill one to win a task. Part 14. Wand received. Rimuru gets up, transforming into his human form, and now wears the clothes he wore when he first got here, the clothes he had worn when he first became a member of the Octagram. As he leaves the room a little earlier to have a look in the library, arriving to see it empty with no one in there, Rimuru smiles to himself, but he can hear Seal sigh, knowing she's about to go through a bit of work, but it will be easy for her. And in few moments Rimuru skips back through the gate that had blocked his way, in a frown on his face. Rimuru. First, these guys need an update on a lot of things. Second, if I had known you'd give me a headache for that, I wouldn't have done it. Seal. It's your imagination, Rimuru. How is it my imagination? You gave me the HEA. Flash. Rimuru stops the argument and looks to see a young man with a camera. Boy. Hiya, Rimuru. Hi, boy. Oh right, I was supposed to tell you that the wand weighing is about to begin soon. Rimuru. Wand weighing? The gate blocking the library rises, allowing entry as Rimuru tilts his head. Time skip. Rimuru now stands in a room with a lady, the other champions, as she grabs Rimuru by the back of his coat and pulls him into a broom closet. Women. My name is Rita Skitter. Is a pleasure, Harry. Rimuru. Rimuru. Rita. Tell me, Harry, what was it like being brought here? Did you somehow find a way to put your name in that goblet so that you could come back? Rimuru. Rimuru. And excuse me, why are you? Looking to the side, Rimuru sees a note bad being written on by a quill as Rita snaps her fingers and Rimuru looks back at her. Rita. Dying was rather cruel of you to do such a thing to us, Harry. Rimuru looks at the women, irritated look on his face. How was dying his fault, and why was this woman making it seem like it was his fault? Rita. Or did you not die and have just been in hiding this whole time for more attention? Having enough of this, Rimuru goes to unleash a bit of his demon lord aura until the door opens and Dumbledore stands there. Dumbledore. Rita. Rita. Dumbledore. Rimuru walks past, obviously irritated by the women, as the mustache guy looks at the women with a "we'll be talking later" look. Rimuru is about to return to his spot before he's stopped by Ollivander. Ollivander. Mr. Tempest. Rimuru. Oh, Ollivander, right. Oh, sorry, Mr. Ollivander. Ollivander gives a slight chuckle before he takes out a box and takes the top off, revealing the newly made wand as he gently takes it from the box and hands it to Rimuru, who takes it as light begins shooting out of the tip. Everyone ends up having to cover their eyes until the light disappears. Rimuru. So what are the odds of this actually being able to handle my magic? Seal. Slim. To none. Rimuru. Well. That's depressing, isn't it? Oh well. Rimuru looks to Ollivander and gives his thanks, but Ollivander doesn't seem to hear what he's saying. Ollivander. Oh yes. I believe you've done many great things, Mr. Tempest. Rita. Maybe I can get another interview, seductively, Harry. Rimuru's eye twitches. Part 15. Rita taken. Rimuru sits in silence as Ollivander inspects the wands of all the champions, well, all except for Rimuru, who allows himself to think about other matters. For one, how these kids will handle the first task and what the second one could be. If those books were right, then Rimuru can safely say 3 tasks may be about it. So what are those 3 tasks? Then this train of thought is interrupted by Ollivander saying something that catches Rimuru's interest. Ollivander. Vila Cor Fleur. From my grandmother. Rimuru. Vila. Wait. Weren't those the ones that can enchant men or something? Seal. Yes. Vila are semi-human magical beings, beautiful women with white gold hair and skin that appears to shine moon bright. When angry, Vila take on a less pleasant appearance. Their faces elongate into sharp, cruel-beaked bird heads and long, scaly wings burst from their shoulder. Rimuru. Thanks for the by the book. Sheesh. Wait. Why haven't I been affected? I thought a number of things here would be different, but I haven't really noticed anything. Seal. Homeweekering is not permitted. Rimuru. So you're making sure I'm not affected, like how I can't get drunk because of you. Seal. Rimuru. Don't be too quick to answer. Click flash. Rimuru is caught high surprise as a flash from a camera goes off, letting Rimuru know he's just had his picture taken, and looking around looks like Rimuru was moved to a different spot too. Rimuru. Sigh. I really need to pay more attention to this stuff. Rimuru and the other champions are soon let go as Rita attempts to make a move to grab Rimuru, who quickly, with a look screaming nope, manages to get away. Arriving at his room, Rimuru sees Diablo and the others. Chloe. Rimuru-sensei, are you okay? Rimuru. I'm fine. Looking to the side, Rimuru sees Veldora enjoying manga walking up behind Velfora's head. Rimuru places his hands on his hips, glancing at the manga Veldora is reading. Rimuru. Are you planning on staying there the entire time? Veldora tilts his head back and smiles. Rimuru. Cheeky bastard. Veldora. I don't see anything for me to really do, besides you've got it all handled right. Veldora accidentally allows a few pages to slide off his thumb as he begins freaking out, trying to get back to the page he was on. Rimuru. Right you do you. Veldora. Rimuru leaves Veldora to his own devices as he continues to try and remember what page he was on. Rimuru. Oh. Right, Rimuru. I'm not going to enjoy this. Rimuru. Hey Shuna. Shuna looks up to Rimuru. Rimuru. I don't suppose I could get you to make me a suit. And a dress as well. Shuna. A dress and a suit I can. Rimuru. Great, looks like Seal will have something to thank you. A dark aura surrounds the women as Rimuru is currently really happy he can't sweat. Shuna. Are you going to be doing something with her? Rimuru-sama. Rimuru. Well, you see. It's like this. Rimuru coughs into his hand, thinking of an excuse before one comes to him. Rimuru. Right, you see, it's like this. There's a dance. The dark aura and feeling of danger spikes Rimuru. But well, we don't know if this dance is just that a dance or something else, like maybe there's a task where we have to fly broomsticks in the air and get our partners back from a flying airship. I just think it's safer for me to take Seal C. Rimuru mentally sighs when the girls look like they've calmed down. They even look happy that Rimuru was worried about them, but then why all seem to look at each other before Shuna points a finger at Rimuru. Shuna. We understand, Rimuru-sama, she will be your official date for this dance. But we'll all be going with you. Rimuru. Rimuru. Where's the help? Seal, doesn't this count as homeweakengor something? Seal. They're part of the home. Rimuru. Geez. I may get a lot of hate for this, but then again I guess I can brag about having beautiful women with me for a dance. Seal. By calling me beautiful you are in turn admiring your own beauty, husband. Rimuru blushes and outs his face into his hands. Rimuru. It's different when it's you. Seal. This is false. Husband is the definition of beauty. Rimuru. Please stop, don't go on a rant please. Seal. May I come to the outside once more? It would be wise to allow others to know I exist here. Rimuru. Fine, and with that Seal splits from Rimuru, putting on an exact replica of the same clothes Rimuru is wearing. Time skip. Rimuru has introduced Seal to everyone, saying it's complicated as Dumbledore allows it. Walking down the halls of the school, Rimuru stops as Rita appears from nowhere. Before looking around, Rimuru realizing that she's about to look in his direction and turns around and trust moving away fast, unknown to Rita that Rimuru has seen her transform or at least appear. Rimuru. Animagus. Rita appears behind Rimuru, putting her hand on his shoulder. Rimuru. Damn it, Rita. Harry dear, would you mind coming with me? Seal. He cannot, as if being saved by an angel. Seal appears. Rimuru. Thank you Seal, you're the best, the greatest. Seal looks to Rimuru, grabbing his arm and pulling him away from Rita and wrapping that arm in her own. Seal. Please do not touch my husband again. Rita's eyes widen slightly as she smells a story, and with these two looking so similar it would be easy to play it as incest, and maybe if she wants a abusive relationship with how assertive that other one was. She can even say Harry id the abusive one. Rita gives a laugh, having all this be written down in the lonely hallway as she transforms to follow them. She's caught in a jar looking at her captor. She sees a pair of black and yellow eyes that promise pain. Seems this person had just read what she had put onto the notepad and didn't like it one bit, and with her story about the pain of Harry's past and never truly dying about to be printed into the paper. Yes, a lot of pain will soon come her way. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 16. My father will hear about this. Rimuru enters the room to see Diablo has a jar and is showing it to some rather upset women. Rimuru. Hi Shuna. Oh Rimuru-sama, Shion. We got a bad one. Rimuru. What? Rimuru looks into the jar and sees the beetle. Rimuru. Oh, I see, hello there Rita. Rimuru flicks the glass as the beetle flies around, obvious irritated by the sound. Rimuru. So what's the deal? Why take her like this? Diablo. 2 reasons. One was just added on. Rimuru tilts his head as Shion hands Rimuru a newspaper. As he takes it and looks at the page it was on, as his fists tighten while holding the paper, he pulls it down to see the beetle in the jar trying to get away from him. Rimuru. Diablo perks up, ready to do anything his master orders. Rimuru. Can you get her to admit to her wrongdoings and get her to work for us in a similar manner to the journalist back home? Shion. That's not even the worst of it. Shion glares at a notepad in Shuna's hand as Rimuru tosses the newspaper onto couch that Veldora is absent from. Rimuru. Can I see that? Shuna? Hi. Shuna glares at the notepad, having just read everything in it. Reading through it paints a very bad picture for Rimuru. Rimuru. Shion. You can assist Diablo. Shuna, I would like you to come with me to the library. I'm pretty sure that's where Veldora will be. Probably looking for more manga. Shuna. Hi, the two leave as Diablo and Xian look down at the beetle that seems to let out a strange noise as if crying for mercy, but shadows cover their faces and one of their eyes glow as the cough, couch, fun, cough, cough, begins. The door shuts as Rimuru and Shuna walk down the stairs. Rimuru turns to catch Shuna, who trips, catching her in his arms. Rimuru. You okay, Shuna? Hi, I'm sorry. Rimuru looks closer at Shuna. Rimuru. Well, it's fine, just be careful. Shuna blushes, enjoying the contact before a voice echoes. Pottah. Turning around, Rimuru sees a boy with really blonde hair. He would almost call it white. Rimuru. It's Rimuru Tempest. I don't really care about that Pottah. Rimuru sighs, already able to tell that this is going to be a headache. Rimuru watches as the boy looks at Shuna, smirking before the horns on top of Shuna's head are noticed by the boy. You know, Pottah, yo, I shouldn't allow yourself to be seen with such. Rimuru. Alright, enough. Look. I have no idea who you are, but I'm going to ask you not to say something bad about Shuna or anyone that came here with me. The boy glares at Rimuru for being interrupting him. Walking back, he bombay into someone, looking back to see a ripped blonde looking down at him. The boy begins to freak out about this. He didn't plan for this. He gets away. My father will hear about this. The boy takes off running as Rimuru raises his hands, confused. Rimuru. About what? Nothing happened. Veldora. Who was that? Rimuru. I have no idea. Rimuru looks at Veldora. Rimuru. By the way, did you do anything? Veldora. No, why? Rimuru looks at Veldora, who looks at Rimuru curiously. Rimuru. And what were you doing? Veldora. Oh, that I wanted some food, so I found the kitchen. Shuna's eyes light up. Shuna. Do you think you can show me to it? Rimuru. Oh boy, Veldora. Ha 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 ha, alright, then follow me. Shuna. Rimuru-sama, would you like to come with us? Rimuru. Why? Moody. Tempest. Do you have a moment? Rimuru. Sigh. Sorry, guess I got to deal with this. Shuna. That's alright, I'll be sure to make you lunch. Rimuru. Thank you, Shuna. Rimuru walks over to Moody. Moody. Follow me. Rimuru. Sure. Part 17. One day away. Rimuru is being brought into the Great Hall by Chloe. Seeing the normal house locations, he sees a place too. The side meant for him taking his seat at the table. He can see Severus sneering at the fact that someone had talked to the headmaster and got the okay for this. Diablo standing at his side with Xian at his other and Veldora standing directly behind him, leaning into his chair. Rimuru's eyes travel to everyone else as they all appear to be watching him in curiosity and some in wonder. Seems like the fact that Rimuru and Harry Potter is still big news for some. Rimuru. Geez, what a pain. Do I really have to be here? I don't even need to eat. Shuna had come from nowhere and set a plate of food in front of Rimuru. Takes one more glance at the wizards and witches before saying thank you, but he stops himself before he asks where their food is. Chloe. Oh. Well, we already ate. And soon after he stomach growls as Rimuru looks unimpressed. Chloe. That didn't happen. Rimuru sighs, upset about what he's about to do, but he takes his own food and splits it enough for everyone. Rimuru. Shuna. Why weren't you able to make enough? Did something happen? Shuna looks at Rimuru and watched him split his food. Shuna. Well. The house elves, as they called themselves, kept getting in the way. Rimuru. I see. I wonder if I can do anything about that. Rimuru eats his portion and moves to give the plate to Chloe before Veldora tries to grab it, but Rimuru pulls it away as Veldora's hands stay outstretched. This ended up getting a few laughs before everyone busted out laughing when Veldora decided he was going to keep trying, and Rimuru, determined not to let him be next. Dumbledore takes a sip of his drink while watching the pair as Severus rolls his eyes. Veldora. Why are you doing this to me? Rimuru. You know why. Rimuru flicks Veldora, who rubs his forehead where a red mark now lays. Rimuru. Besides, if there was a list of people who has earned this food, you're definitely not on the list. Veldora. But. Haha, the labyrinth. Rimuru. Yeah, and look where you're not. Veldora gains a look of utter betrayal as Rimuru passes the food to Chloe, who accepts and eats her share. Chloe. Sorry, I'm sure yours won't be the smallest portion. With this said, Veldora watches as they all eat before him, but when he finally gets the 8, it's like a gift from God as laughs echo, letting them know that this entire talk and show was seen. Rimuru. Figures, why can't people just mind their own business? Sigh. I miss my city. I actually miss my paperwork. Do I hate it here? Seal. Answer: husband has a strong dislike for this world. Rimuru. Yeah, thank you. Rimuru stands up and heads off to his room, soon followed by everyone as he arrived at the courtyard. Rimuru. One more day then I'm fighting a dragon. Feel bad for those kids. Still, I think this just proves these people need a lot of mental help letting kids fight dragons. Didn't see me letting my students for dangerous things. Wait. Nah, I'm way safer than them. Part 18. Time to rethink the plan. Rimuru is behind a rock as fire shoots from it, trying to not get hit by it and show that it wouldn't hurt him, and also trying to think of what to do. Rimuru. Why didn't anyone tell me I couldn't hurt it? That's stupid. Don't hurt the dragon. We're in a fight against a dragon for a golden egg. It's going to be protective of the damn egg. People could die. It's a dragon. What about self-defense? How is that not allowed? Rewind time. Rimuru is getting everything ready, placing his sword on the outside and onto his back so he can grab it like he usually does before he begins to head out. Rimuru. Here's hoping that wizards don't have a thing against swords. I mean, how could they? They're basically letting kids walk around with sticks that could cause an explosion if they aren't care. Boom. Rimuru. Full. Careful. Sigh. These guys really need to watch these kids better. Allowing one more sigh to escape his lips, Rimuru goes over to where the explosion had taken place, seeing what appeared to be a first year trying to defend himself from some of the older students. Rimuru. Hey, what's the big idea? The students turn around to see Rimuru. Rimuru immediately takes note of the green and the snake on the cloak of the older students, while he takes note of the yellow on the younger. Older student. What's it matter to you, Po? The boy is quickly silenced by a glare from Rimuru. Rimuru. I'm about to be late, better wrap this up. Older student 2. Hey, is that? They take notice of the sword on Rimuru's back and the glare that is staying on his face before their eyes widen as they begin to sweat. Rimuru. I'll say this once: leave the kid alone and go about your business. Older student 3. You don't scare me, Potter. The two other boys look at the third in a way that screams shut up, but the third student takes his wand and is about to try and attack Rimuru before light travels to him and turns him into a ferret. Rimuru. I'm sorry, what? Seal? To the left. Looking to the left, Rimuru sees Moody walking up. Rimuru. Is this normal? Parents allow this type of thing to happen to their kids? What is wrong with everyone here, even if it can be reversed? Rimuru is complete shock about parents allowing this until another professor comes and yells at Moody and undoes it. Moody. Tempest. It's time, Rimuru. Right, let's get this over with. After making his way into a tent, Rimuru sees a more nice-looking Rita who is going around and getting the thoughts of everyone, and with a quick glance at the notepad in the air, it seems to be writing exactly what the kids are saying. Flashback to Rimuru reading today's paper. Rimuru. What's this? The paper reads: Rita Skeeter admits to libel and swears to do better. More information on page 7. Rimuru looks up at Diablo and she and Rimuru. What did they do to her, I wonder? Hours earlier, a square mass of human bones and flesh and organs is begging to be put back. Go normal, swearing go be better, as Diablo and Sheehan stand over at the square being. Rita swears she has seen their eyes glow red as she cries, begging for forgiveness. She should have never tried to play against Rimuru Tempest. She knows that now. Oh, how far away she would have kept if she knew this would be the outcome. Flashback end. Rimuru waits patiently for the task to begin as several people walk in. Time skip. Rimuru has drawn his dragon as they had them all draw small dragons that seem to not be alive. Rimuru is fully ready, that is until Dumbledore opens his mouth to tell them all something. Dumbledore. And remember, do not harm the eggs or the dragon. Not that you truly could harm a beast as mighty as a dragon. Rimuru. I may need to rethink my strategy. Just had a thought, guys. So, what if male Rimuru Tempest Reader, or maybe just Rimuru Tempest XMCU? What do you guys think would happen? Let's hear your ideas for such a thing. Part 19. Got the egg? So that happens in the light novel. Someone made a comic of it and I love it. It's great, so enjoy that. Now to the story. After the others face their dragons, Rimuru's turn is up and he immediately almost gets blasted by fire instinct kicking in. He gets behind a rock. Rimuru. Stupid, this is stupid. I can't hurt a dragon. Our goal is to get that golden egg, and why do I feel like I said all this before? Strange, wait. Idea. Rimuru steps out from behind the rock and moved as if he's going to run for it and grab the egg before he is immediately attacked by the dragon's flames, which engulf him entirely. Everyone's eyes go wide save for those who came with Rimuru. Rimuru. Now for the icing on the cake. Rimuru lets out a scream as if he was being cooked and burning to death as a few students cover their ears and look away. Dumbledore's eyes widen more as he goes to get up before the dragon stops its attack, and Rimuru is standing perfectly fine as he stretches. Rimuru. Sorry, I fell asleep. What's happening, Dumbledore? That's impossible. Veldora. Ha 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 ha. Rimuru. Oh right, the egg. Rimuru takes a step forward as the dragon lets out a loud roar, causing several of the spectators to jump from their seats as Rimuru looks annoyed. Rimuru. Rude. Rimuru unleashes a bit of his power directly onto the dragon, which begins to yelp and try to get away from Rimuru. Rimuru. No no no, you stop that right now. The dragon does so. Rimuru. Now sit. The dragon does so. Rimuru. Roll over. The dragon attempts it. Rimuru. Good good. The eyes of the spectators are wide in shock. How could this be possible? He made one of the mightiest and proudest creatures in their world act like a puppy. Albeit a well-trained puppy. Rimuru walks over and picks up the egg as the dragon look at him, sniffing him before looking joyful. Rimuru. Oh now you smell it. Geez. Rimuru puts a hand in his head, shocked at how it took this dragon to realize he was a true dragon himself. The dragon nudges its head towards Rimuru, who pats it. Rimuru then looks to the crowd. Rimuru. I got the egg. Rimuru lifts up the egg as silence is all that meets him until the dragon and breathes fire into the air and the feeling of death rushes over them. Only then did they all begin to clap. Rimuru. Huh. Time skip. Rimuru sits in his room. Luckily the students were mostly okay and he's just looking at the egg. Rimuru. I have a feeling I'm not going to like you. The egg rests in his hands, unmoving. Rimuru. And maybe I should have been a bit less showy. Flashback. Rimuru is trying to get back to his room but is being bombarded with questions of how he did what he did. Rimuru sighs to himself. Rimuru. Magic, that's how student. But no magic can do that stuff. Rimuru. Well, I didn't mean this world's magic. Seeing opening when they all look dumbfounded. Rimuru slips away as the students attempt to chase after him and ask more questions. Flashback end. Dumbledore sits in his office. A look of shock rests on his face, one that hasn't left him since the trail. Dumbledore. I do not know what he did, but if it hadn't worked he would have been killed again, and once more it would have been my fault. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 20. Dance. Rimuru walks up to his room to prepare for the Yule Ball. Days have passed since the Dragon Trail, and while some students ask him questions, a few have started to think it may be a bad idea to irritate him or else become the pet of Tempest. Rimuru believes this to be completed unfounded and has tried to get them to not think this, but each time he does and behind to walk away he hears things like, be careful of the dragon tamer. Seal. Do not let it bother you, husband, just focus on getting ready for tonight. Rimuru. Right, see you soon. Rimuru makes his way up to his group's room and enters into a side room as Diablo stands there, a smile on his face and a suit in his hands. Diablo. Leave everything to me, Rimuru-sama. Rimuru. That's the plan. Rimuru stands in front of a mirror as Diablo goes over him, making sure that everything is perfect. Rimuru. I thought I would have more time before the dance. Seal. Is something bothering you, husband? Rimuru. No, and don't read my thoughts right now, just focus on what you're doing, okay? Seal. Hi. Rimuru looks at himself in the mirror. Just the suit, no mask and no seal behind him. Diablo stands behind Rimuru, a smile on his face as he admires his lord. Rimuru. I wonder how it's going for Seal. Meanwhile, Seal stands in front of a mirror herself as she wears a dress Shuna made for her, and just as Seal had requested, it's a dress version of the clothes Rimuru had for his first Walpurgis. Seal looks herself over once more before nodding to herself. Looking to the side, she sees the other girls getting ready as well. Ranga sleeping on the floor. Seal goes over and pats him on the head before exiting to meet her partner in everything. Rimuru waits out in the hall as Seal steps out, his eyes widen. Rimuru. I know we look alike, but still, Seal. I am ready. Rimuru. Right, yeah, let's go. Rimuru raises his hands for Seal to take as she does. They walk to the great hall for the dance. Arriving, several jars drop as two red-haired twins whisper to each other. George. Fred. Which one was the boy again? Fred. Oh, I think it was the one with yellow eyes. George. George. Are we sure? Fred. No, both. They're better than we are at this. A professor walks up to the duo, that duo being Rimuru and Seal. Rimuru not really remembering her name until Seal tells him. Seal. McGonagall. Husband. Rimuru. Thank you. Rimuru. Is something wrong, Professor? McGonagall. No, nothing, just well, you sure the two of you are not related? Rimuru. No, we're not, Seal. We're married. McGonagall looks at Seal before closing her eyes. McGonagall. Well, at any rate, please enter the first dance or for the champions. And with this the pair make their way inside, gaining the attention of several others as the dance begins, with the champions being the first to dance. Seal pushes Rimuru closer to her as they dance until someone taps on Rimuru's shoulder. Looking back, Rimuru sees a teenager who looks cocky. Boy. Mind if I cut in? Seal. Yes, we do. Leave now, boy. Wah. Seal narrows her eyes. Seal. Leave now, boy. Bu. Seal. Leave. The boy quickly runs away as Seal goes back to enjoying herself with Rimuru. Rimuru. Seal looks at Rimuru confused before she herself gives a small smile, unnoticed by everyone but Rimuru, as they focus on nothing but each other, that is, until others enter the Great Hall. Shuna, Xian and Chloe all stand in dresses looking straight at Rimuru. It would appear that they are ready for the dance that he's been saving for them, as Seal pouts to herself but sighs. Rimuru. Did you just sigh? Seal. It's just your imagination. Don't worry. I'll wait for you to finish. And with that, Seal goes to get some punch, never really intending to drink it, but why not? Rimuru looks back to the other girls, taking in their appearance. Rimuru. Well, you all look great. Shuna, Xian and Chloe smile at this as Shuna walks forward. Shuna. I'll be first if that's all right, Rimuru-sama. Rimuru. All right. Taking Shuna's raised hand, the two begun to dance as one song turns into two before Xian gets in and takes Shuna's place once more. One song turns into two as Chloe takes charge. This time one song turns into four as Chloe seems to refuse to let Rimuru go. Rimuru. Chloe. I know. But I won't be giving up, and I won't lose to Seal or any of the others. Rimuru chuckles to himself. Rimuru. Talk about determination. All right. One more dance for Chloe. And with that, Chloe's dance with Rimuru comes to an end. Rimuru sees a group of boys begin to surround Seal as a look of irritation appears in Rimuru's face. Moments earlier, as Seal arrives to her destination, several teenagers try to talk to her as she ignores them all, not showing any interest. As minutes pass and more try to hit on her as she remains unresponsive until one grabs her shoulder. Her hand immediately shoots up and grabs it and pushes it away. Seal. Request: do not touch me, teenager. What's your problem? I've been asking if you want to dance for about half an hour now. Seal. Pathetic teenager. What did you say? Rimuru. Well, I believe she said pathetic. The teenagers look back at Rimuru and leave after the dragon. They're not feeling lucky enough to try that fight. Rimuru. Sorry for the wait, I didn't mean for you to wait this long. Seal. No, it is nothing to concern yourself with. I will happily wait for you just as I said. Rimuru. Well then, sticking his hand out towards Seal. Rimuru. May I have this dance, milady? Seal lifts her own hand and Rimuru takes it into his, leading her back to the dance floor, a smile on both of their faces. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 21. Pattern in the water. Rimuru and Seal remain on the dance floor as the numbers of dancers begins to lower as people's feet become tired and sore. However, for the two partners this is not possible for them. They could dance for years and never feel tired, bored possibly, but something tells Rimuru that Seal would never grow bored of dancing with him. But like most things, the ball must eventually come to an end, and Rimuru and Seal go to make their way to the room to meet back up with the others until some people stop them. The other champions all walk by Rimuru, tell him something very similar: to use water in the egg. Rimuru. Is this thanks for the dragon? Seal. Diggory told us about a bath, perhaps we should use it. Rimuru. Yeah, let's get the egg. The two begin to walk upstairs to get said egg as Rimuru has a thought. Rimuru. Wait. You're going back to being in my head for this, right? Seal. Negative. Rimuru. Time skip. The two are in the bath, Rimuru keeping his eyes off Seal as Seal looks at Rimuru confused on why he is doing so. Seal decides to focus on the task at hand and makes it so the painting above cannot see them and no one or thing may enter, as to give herself and her husband privacy. Rimuru. So we just put this in the water, right? Seal. I believe going under with the egg is needed. Rimuru. Okay, they really can't give people hints, can they? Seal. Unfortunately, I do not believe they have the brain capacity to remember to do such. Rimuru. Well, let's go. Rimuru turns into his slime form as he and the egg begin to go underwater. Seal quickly joins and becomes a slime herself as the two listen to the egg. Egg. Come and seek us where our voices sound, we cannot sing above the ground, and while you're searching ponder this, we've taken what you'll sorely miss, hour long you'll have to look, and to recover what we took but past an hour the prospect's black, too late it's gone, it won't come back. Rimuru shuts the egg and turns back into his human form, followed by Seal, who stays in slime form but manages to get herself on top of Rimuru's head and rests there. Rimuru. What do you think, squid, tentacle monster, maybe gained man-eating fish who can sing? Seal looks at the painting that held the mermaid, already having figured it out. Seal. Mermaid's Rimuru. Huh. Okay, so what I'll surely miss him, looks like it's the date to the dance, that makes sense. Seal. Rimuru. But still kinda dangerous for the students they have and we can't ever really be separated, so. But I'm getting tired with all the backwards crap that's been here already and what they've done with the dragons. There's something else in the water. So if it thinks about making you a snack, I'll make it my dinner. Seal, even as a slime, seems to smile at this, even though she knows she wouldn't be in any danger, and she knows Rimuru knows it to Seal better than anyone knows what Rimuru is capable of doing. But for tonight. Seal. Husband transform back Rimuru. Okay, Rimuru does so as Seal sits on top of him as he floats as a slime. Rimuru. Why did you have me do this exactly, Seal? Seal sucks in air and pushes it out, allowing the two to move as Rimuru just allows it to. Rimuru, it's like Seal is making patterns that have no real meaning, but he's happy that she's enjoying herself, so he'll allow it. But for Seal and anyone who could look at the two from above, Seal has made two slimes and a heart in between them, bubbles showing the pattern. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 22. Dumbledore and Rimuru talk. Rimuru and Seal return to the room to be greeted by the others who waited for them. Rimuru. Hey, got some good news, Shuna. Shuna, being the first to react, quickly asks what the news is and receives a reply. Shuna. So water and mermaids, Chloe. It's probably that lake they have, right? Shion. But why mermaids, Rimuru? Who knows, they had a dragon. I'm convinced that after mermaids will be gained man-eating slugs. Everyone reacts differently to this as they wish to discuss this further. Rimuru soon says that he would like to sleep for a bit, so they all soon head to bed. Rimuru turns into his slime form as Seal grabs him and holds him tightly, not about to give him up. The next day, Rimuru in human form and in his old clothes with the blue coat walks out of the room as he is soon met by Moody. Moody. Tempest, Professor Dumbledore would like a word. Rimuru. Joy. 5 minutes later, Rimuru stands in Dumbledore's office. Rimuru. Can I help you with something? Rimuru says this in a bored tone. He truthfully does not want to be here, yet here he is stuck in Dumbledore's office, wondering why he was called here. Rimuru. Actually, now that I think about it, I've never been in here alone. It feels welcoming, but something doesn't feel right about it. On top of that, this is the first time I've actually talked to the old man alone. Let's hope it goes well. Dumbledore. Yes, my dear boy, I was wondering how you're finding everything here. Dumbledore says this in his usual grandfatherly tone, a twinkle in his eye that quickly disappears. Rimuru. Why is this old man treating me like a kid? Seal. Report he has attempted to gain access to your mind. He was, however, unsuccessful. Rimuru glares at the old headmaster, allowing him to know that his attempt to invade Rimuru's mind did not go unnoticed and it was not appreciated. Getting the feeling he should tread wisely, he opens his mouth. Dumbledore. I simply wish to know the relationship between you and this Seal a bit more. With the two of you looking so similar, I could not help but wonder. Rimuru. Seal is my partner, and no, we are not related like so many people seem to think. I've already told you this. A moving painting chooses this moment to let out a yell about rudeness and a need to treat the headmaster with more respect before Dumbledore calms them down. Dumbledore. Of course, though there is not anything to worry about, for pure blood's marriage between family is a normal occurrence. Rimuru. I hate it here, I really do. Next thing I'm going to be told is that people sometimes use house elves for sex slaves. I really hate it here. Seal. Discrimination not only against other races but to half-bloods and muggleborns, as they call it, slaves, inbreeding, and a clear lack of advancements in technology and culture. Have I missed anything? Rimuru. No, I think that's right. This conversation was had using thought acceleration as Dumbledore looks up at Rimuru. Dumbledore. Tell me, how is it you look so similar without being related? Rimuru. I don't think that's any business of yours. Dumbledore. Of course, forgive my prying curiosity is a weak point of mine. Rimuru. Dumbledore. That said, have you managed to get an idea for the next task? Rimuru. I have to ask, did you call me here for small talk? Rimuru is used to dealing with this type of thing, but this world and now this old man just seemed to set him off. Something about this old man reminds Rimuru way too much of Yuki and Clayman, and maybe a bit of Rudra as well. Rimuru. I have an idea of what it is, but I need to come up with a plan. Rimuru says this with a hope that it will get him out of this office soon. Dumbledore. Perhaps I could help. This appears to be the wrong thing to say as Rimuru moved to his feet. Rimuru. Instead of helping me help your actual student Cedric Diggory, he probably needs it more than me, and he also actually goes to your school. Dumbledore looks around Rimuru, shocked by the sudden outburst. Dumbledore. I assure you that the other champions are more than capable of planning themselves. Rimuru. And I'm not. Dumbledore goes quiet as Rimuru narrows his eyes, now the glare allowing half of his golden eyes to be seen, unnatural sight that actually frightens the old man. Rimuru. Tell me something. Who was it that actually needed medical attention after that task? A task you had helped to set up. Tell me the names of the students that could have died because you and the others in charge want to put on a good show. Even if you're not in charge, I'm sure you can pull something and make it safer. Dumbledore. I assure you the students were in no danger. They were chained to the ground, not to mention the ones stationed to handle things if they happened to get away. Rimuru. Oh, I am sure, but tell me, can your safety measures account for everything? Dumbledore looks at Rimuru as he says this, nodding his head after he finishes. Dumbledore. Yes, of course. Forgive me, I'll let you go now. I apologize, but if I may, as you said, you do not go to this school. That means certain places are allowed to you that are not allowed to students. Rimuru turns and leaves, as with one final look to Dumbledore, who lets his head hang slightly. Dumbledore sighs. The boy is far from what I originally hoped for. While he does seem to care, he is also far more intelligent than I thought he would be, but that doesn't matter. Dumbledore needs Rimuru to defeat Tom Riddle. Taking a lemon drop, Dumbledore puts it in his mouth, letting the taste fill his mouth. Meanwhile, Rimuru returns to his room, annoyance clear on his face. Rimuru. I miss Gazel. No, not just that, I miss my home. Even with this world being his original one, he doesn't really feel at home here. In truth, Rimuru really just wants to go back to his city. He hasn't really gotten to be in his slime form here, save for the bath last night and when he sleeps. Diablo. Rimuru-sama. Rimuru perks up, looking to the side. Rimuru sees Diablo there, a table that wasn't there before, and tea made with seats. Seal is already in one, thinking it's better to not ask where the table came from. Rimuru sits down and enjoy the scent of the tea before he takes a sip. Not knowing when the next task will happen is a problem he'll need to figure out. On top of that, Rimuru is worried about his city. All of this goes through Rimuru's mind. Rimuru. Diablo. Diablo perks up, bearing his name called. Rimuru. Where are the others, Diablo? They wish to be of more use to you and have gone, dealing any knowledge about when the task will take place. Rimuru smiles at this. Those guys, he's lucky to have them, and from the looks of it, Veldora went to letting out a slight chuckle. Rimuru thinks about the amount of manga Veldora will ask for after he gets back. With one final sigh, Rimuru finishes his tea quickly before standing up. Rimuru. Diablo. Seal, why don't we go look for information as well? Getting nods, the three make their way out of the room. Part 23. A day at the library. Rimuru walks down one of the many corridors in Hogwarts with Diablo behind him and Seal at his side, and once they arrive at the library, they see Veldora sleeping with a book on his face, sitting in a chair. Shuna reading like tomorrow will be the end of the world, and Sheehan about to throw a book for not being what she was after. Chloe, however, is sitting in front of a window with her legs crossed and a book in hand as she flips a page before signing to herself. As she closes the book and massages her temples before she catches sight of Blue looking towards it, she quickly gains a look of joy at seeing Rimuru. Chloe. Rimuru-sensei. Chloe jumps up to her feet, tossing the book to the side and moving towards Rimuru as the others perk up at hearing Rimuru's name be called. Veldora wakes up, the book on his face falling onto the ground as he raises his hands as if in a fight before it dawns on him where he is. Rimuru. Hey, find anything, Veldora? Sheehan. Well. Shuna. No, unfortunately we did not. Rimuru. Right, well, go get some rest, your eyes must hurt after all that reading. The girls are about to try and say they are fine, but Veldora has already taken off to the room, bored of these books and wanting to return to his manga. Rimuru. It's alright, go ahead and go get something to eat or something. The girls, while not wanting to leave so soon, end up agreeing after seeing Rimuru's smile as they go. Seal looks to Rimuru. Seal. Husband, we have already analyzed the books in this section. Rimuru. Yeah, I know, do let's go to the restricted section, shall we? The three of them go towards a gate that leads to the restricted section that quickly open and shut after they get into the restricted section. 1 hour later, Rimuru sits on a stack of books, Seal behind him on another stack, their backs against each other, using the other to support their back, both looking over books, with Diablo standing to the side looking over a book himself as he has an eyebrow raised. Diablo. Perhaps I should go prepare some tea for them. The magic of this world is incredible weak, and even the dark arts these books seem to have knowledge of are nothing special that human Ryzen could do far more. Rimuru. Please tell me the students will be leaving soon, I'm about to lose my mind with all this reading. Seal. 3 more hours, husband. Rimuru. Unholy screaming. Rimuru. Sorry, Seal. I do not mind, husband. The group continue reading, Rimuru wondering why a school that is against the quote dark arts would have books to teach those dark arts. 3 hours later, Hermione. You do realize you are in the restricted section. Diablo looks over to the girl as Rimuru perks up, taking a few minutes to remember who she is. Rimuru. Hermione, how are you? Hermione. I am fine, but you are in the Seal. Restricted section. We know we are allowed. Hermione. What? Rimuru. We're not students and have been given permission from you, headmaster. His words being, since you're not students you can move more freely or something. Hermione. What? But that's a boy walks up with red hair. Rimuru vaguely remembers him, but not his name or any conversation if they ever happen to have one. Boy. Hermione. Hey Hermione. Not now, Ronald. Ron. How many times do I have to tell you to call me Ron? Look, I need your help. Hermione. Not right now, Ron. Why? Looking to where? Hermione. Id looking. Ron sees Rimuru, Seal and Diablo. Ron. What? But that's the restricted section. Hermione. Yes, I told them that, but apparently they have permission. Ron. That's not fair, Hermione. The rules. Rimuru. Oh my god, something happened, please. At this moment McGonagall walks up to the two. McGonagall. I believe it's time for you two to be heading up to bed. Ron. Professor. McGonagall gives them a look that says do it now. And with this look from the professor the two quickly leave. Rimuru. Thank you, Universe. McGonagall. As for all of you, just be careful and be sure to head to bed soon. Dumbledore had the house elves bring food to your rooms already. Rimuru. Thank you, and with this McGonagall leaves. Rimuru. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think we're good. Ready, Seal. Seal stands up, closing the book in her hand. Seal. Hi. The two transform into their slimes stated, and Diablo gets in front of the gate as the two slimes begin jumping on every book, absorbing them and then spitting them out. They do this to every book. An hour later, Rimuru and Seal are back in him and form with the books having been put up. Seal. Nothing of use. Rimuru. Okay, I gotta ask, why does a school have books that are so dark and yet everyone else seems against that type of thing? I'm more confused than angry. Seal. It is strange, but nothing here can be harmful to you, husband. Rimuru. Whatever I want to eat. Let's go. Seal. Hi, Diablo. I'll have tea ready as soon as we get back. Rimuru. Alright, let's go eat. Let me know what you think in the comments, and here's a little something I found. Question: are you guys enjoying this? I know it's an odd question, but are you guys actually enjoying this book? And if so, let me know what it is you like about it. Sorry if this is out of the blue. Oh, and happy early Halloween. Halloween special at the city of Rimuru. The one who the city is named after is in his office doing paperwork until Shuna runs in, followed by Shion. Shuna. Rimuru-sama. Rimuru jerks up as he was leaning down to look at his handwriting and he had his head on the desk from being bored of paperwork. Rimuru. What is it, Shion? Halloween. Remember? Rimuru's eyes widen as he jumps out of his seat and tries to jump out of the window before Chloe is right there. Chloe. Rimuru-sensei, hey, it's Halloween. Rimuru. I know. Rimuru is caught by Shuna and Shion. 5 seconds later. A.N. These are Rimuru. Rimuru. Geez, why is it always clothes like this? Walking through the streets, Remus and Sirius are seen as they're looking at all the costumes people are wearing ready to enjoy Halloween. Sirius. Isn't this a bit much, with Lily and James? Remus. Sirius. I'm sure they would want him to enjoy the holidays. Sirius. I know, it's just strange. Remus. Well, let us follow his example and enjoy ourselves. Sirius. Just as they would want. Sirius smiles as this, of course he knows that James and Lily would want Harry, or rather Rimuru, to enjoy himself on Ever Holiday. He also knows that they would want himself and Remus to have fun as well, so he'll have enough fun for both of them. Back to Rimuru, who is at his own home with Seal out. Rimuru, how's this? Seal. Vampire. Rimuru. Yes. Seal. Cute Rimuru. Well, hearing a noise, the two look out the window and see someone flying through the air as Milam slams down, dressed in a white t-shirt with what looks like blood on it. Seems she's dressed up. Or killed someone, even her pants look like they're blood-stained. Milam. Wah ha 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 ha, Rimuru, I am here. Rimuru opens the door so Milam doesn't kick it down. Rimuru. Yeah, I see that, but why are you dressed like that? Milam. For Halloween. It's meant to be a killer. That's what Ramirez told me. Rimuru. Ramirez helped you? Milam. Hee Seal. I believe she forced her to. Rimuru. I'm more surprised Frey didn't do it. Veldora. Rimuru, look at me. Rimuru looks behind Milam, who looks behind herself as well, seeing Veldora, who is in a dragon costume of himself. Veldora. Wahaha, look at my greatness. Rimuru. Is this guy for real? Veldora. I look amazing. Milam. Hey, let's go get some candy. Rimuru. Seal. He cannot, he will be going with me. Veldora. But. Milam. But he's Seal. With me. Rimuru turns around to try and get Seal to go along with them, but stops when he sees what she is wearing. This is Seal. Rimuru. Why do you have that? Seal. HMPH. Seal looks to the side, not answering Rimuru's question. Rimuru. Well, I'm sure we can get some candy. Rimuru. Someone my age going trick or treating, kinda embarrassing. Rimuru smirks to himself as he lets everyone drag him away. Hours later, the sun has set. Rimuru and everyone are in costumes as Seal wraps her arms around Rimuru's left arm as they go around watching kids get candy. As several people give them candy as well, passing them is Shuna and Shion, who are dressed as each other on the other side with a stand to give out candy. Benimaru is dressed as Sue but with red and gold instead of darker colors, and Sue, who is dressed like Benimaru but the clothes are his own colors, passing them. Rimuru feels someone tap his shoulder. Turning around, Rimuru sees Chloe dressed in Rimuru's clothes with the blue coat, and Hinata, who is dressed as Shizu. Miles away, Luminous walks into Hinata's room, seeing a bowl of candy. Looking side to side, Luminous looks quickly before picking one up and unwrapping it. Luminous. Blood as well. Was she planning to give these to me? He. Luminous tosses the sweet in her mouth as a smile graces her lips as she takes a few with her before leaving. Back at the city of Rimuru, Rimuru has ran into Sirius and Remus, who are dressed as a wolfman and a cat. Sirius. Not a word. Remus. He lost a bet. Sirius. I said not a word. Mooney. Remus. Sorry Padfoot, I couldn't resist. Rimuru laughs at their interaction. They always seem to act like brothers, as Sirius is almost growling at Remus, who has his hands up in defense. All is well, and Halloween really gets into gear once they get to the center of the city as lights suddenly turn on, revealing everyone in costumes and a giant pumpkin. Rimuru in the middle, sitting in front of the water fountain. Rimuru. It's like Halloween Town. Rimuru smiles as they all get to the center and begin having fun. Rimuru. A Halloween festival should have figured Rigard would do something like this. And with this, all of them enjoy the night, drinks, food, and obviously lots of candy. Seal looks to Rimuru and back down to her hands, seeing a Pocky as she sticks one end in her mouth, a look of determination on her face. Seal. Husband. Rimuru. What is IMMMM? Seal had shoved the Pocky into Rimuru's mouth, kissing him as Rimuru allows the Pocky to just sit there before he tries to break it with his tongue. Seal. Success. Shuna, Shion, Chloe. No Hinata. I was too late, I've lost. The night ends with Seal being glared at by the other girls and Rimuru pulling a full stick of Pocky out of his mouth as the men laugh to themselves as the children seem to be playing tag. And just a non-canon thing I made, hope you all liked it. It's the first and probably only special I'll be making like this because it kinda sucks, but hey, I've been working on this the second that 12 o'clock hit and I'm understandably tired. Just finished, but would ever let me know what you think in the comments. Part 24. Put in the water. Rimuru and Seal walk past a broom closet as they hear arguing from it as the door opens and one of the headmasters walk out, leaving an annoyed Snape as the two continue walking. Snape. Wait right there. Tempest. Rimuru. Okay. Snape walks towards Rimuru, noticing that Seal hasn't left. Snape. Why are you still here, Seal? You said wait, Tempest, you never said which one. Snape. So you are related, Seal? No. I am his wife, as such I am a Tempest. Snape sneers at this. Snape. Tell me, Tempest, another world, truly the ingredients for potions, there must be something. Rimuru. Rimuru is confused as to where he's going with this, looking towards Seal, who makes no move. Snape. But the next time you think you can steal from me just because you haven't seen the ingredients here may just result in loss of limb. I do not know why, but I will find out why you are making so much polyjuice potion. Rimuru. I haven't taken anything from here though. Snape gets in Rimuru's face, a sneer clear on his face as his eyes darken. Snape. Do not lie. 2. MG Seal had pushed Snape away as his back hits a ladder he has in the room. Seal. Do not threaten my husband and do not accuse him without proof of doing anything. Snape glares as he motions for the two to leave. Meanwhile, Chloe enters a bathroom before she has a ghost immediately get in her face. Chloe. Hi ghost. Who are you, Chloe? My name is Chloe and you are? Moaning Myrtle. Moaning Myrtle. Chloe raises an eyebrow at the word moaning. Chloe. Well, it's nice to meet you. Meanwhile, Rimuru and Seal are sitting on the bed staring at each other, having made it back to the room without anyone getting in their way. Seal. I believe he is the most likely one to have done it with what the book said, inasmuch as he drinks from the flask. Rimuru. But I never noticed it. Seal. I have. He is either highly addicted to what he is drinking, if that is so, alcohol, or it is polyjuice potion. Veldora lowers his manga and looks at them as they continue to stare at each other. Veldora. Are you two okay, or Seal? It's a good plan. Rimuru. I don't like it, Seal. Rimuru. What if you're caught? Seal. I won't be. Veldora. Hey, tell me what it is. Both Rimuru and Seal look at Veldora, annoyed at him interrupting them, as Veldora flinches at the glares and goes back to reading his manga. Veldora. I miss Ramirez. Rimuru looks at Seal, who looks straight back at Rimuru. Rimuru. All right, just be careful, okay? Seal nods her head as she gets and is about to exit the room before stopping and looking back at Rimuru. Rimuru. What about Dumbledore? He may try something at the bottom of that lake, so we don't know if it's safe to use our connection to give me directions. Seal. I'll handle it, Rimuru. That old man has tried to get into my head already. Seal. I'll make sure he cannot. Rimuru. I know this is getting complicated. Seal. It will be fine. I am with you. That means you don't need to worry about anything. Rimuru smirks to himself as Seal turns and leaves, leaving Veldora and Rimuru alone in the room. Veldora. Sue. Is everything? Rimuru. Shut up or no more manga. Veldora. Veldora flips a page, being as quiet as possible. Seal walks down a hallway. Moody. Seal, is it Seal? That is correct. Moody grabs something from within his coat and pulls it out, revealing a flask. Seal. Addiction. Or something else. Seal. Excuse me. Moody quickly takes a swig of whatever is in his flask and then puts it back in his coat. Moody. What is it, Seal? What is that you are drinking? Moody. That's not really your concern, is it now? Dumbledore would like a word with you. Seal. Very well. Seal begins walking past Moody. As she walks past Moody, she takes the flask without Moody noticing and absorbs it, analyzing it and then falling over. As Moody helps her up, she puts the flask back without him noticing as she begins walking. Seal. Husband. I was right not to trust him. Rimuru. Oh, so it is polyjuice. Seal. Yes, Rimuru. So should we take him down now? Seal. No. It is likely he is the one who made the goblet bring us here, as such he must have an endgame plan. Rimuru. So you want to see what that plan is? Seal. Yes. Rimuru. Alright, I trust you. Seal smiles to herself. The trust Rimuru puts in her has always made her happy. She would even say that Rimuru trusts her the most out of anyone, and the feeling that gives her is incredible, and she will never allow herself to let him down to do such a thing to Rimuru. For Seal, it would be unforgivable. As the two arrive in Dumbledore's office. Dumbledore. Welcome. Now I have something to ask. I need to out you to sleep for the next task, if you do not mind. Seal nods her head as Dumbledore casts a sleeping spell on Seal, who isn't affected by the spell but does her best to make it look like she is fooling Dumbledore and everyone else. Dumbledore. Alright, then let us place her in the water now. And in a few minutes Seal is chained down and placed in the lake with several others. Seal quickly makes sure that it is safe to speak with Rimuru, and if it wasn't she would make it safe. Luckily for her it is safe. Seal. Husband, I am currently in the lake. Rimuru. Right, then the second task will be soon. Seal. Yes, that is correct, Rimuru. Alright, what about the mermaids? Seal immediately replies. Seal. Several, Rimuru. Do they looks like mermaids from the cartoons I used to watch? Seal. No. They're ugly, Rimuru. Oh, alright, just hang out there and I'll get you as soon as the task is on. Seal. Hi, Part 25. Second task. Rimuru stands with the other champions as they prepare to enter the lake wearing black shorts and a black t-shirt as the others await for the signal. Rimuru stands with his eyes closed talking with Seal, but this soon stops as Rimuru looks to the left, seeing a platform and seats made for this task as he sees his group there ready to cheer, all of them wearing a shirt over their normal clothes with Rimuru's face on it. The face is that of Rimuru's human form, but on the inside is the slime form unknown to Rimuru. The place of the slime is right above their hearts as they all have a flag to wave with the name Rimuru on it, and Veldora having a big #1 glove saying Rimuru's name. Rimuru, seeing this, can't help but blush at it, but he quickly gets over it and focuses on the task at hand to get his partner back from this lake. And with the firing of a cannon the champions all jump into the water as Rimuru swims down, not having to take the time to make any charm or have to deal with transfiguration like the others. That is until he gets below the stands. Rimuru breathes in water using his mouth as Beelzebub before pushing all the water out, rocketing in the direction that Seal gave him. Rimuru. Yes. Now using all the bubbles made up as a way to block his lower body, Rimuru allows his feet to change into slime and use that as a propeller. Rimuru. This is the best way to travel. Who needs all that dumb magic these guys have when you can just do this? And within just a few short seconds Rimuru finds his partner surrounded by mermaids who quickly get away as Rimuru stops in front of her before the bubbles disappear. Rimuru changes his feet back to what they should look like. Rimuru. You ready to go, Seal? Seal. Yes, I am. Rimuru is about to get Seal unchained until a mermaid decides it wants to stop him, putting its weapon to Rimuru's neck. Rimuru. That's a bad move, friend mermaid. To fast, the mermaid says this almost like it's hissing at Rimuru, whose eyes narrow. Rimuru. Back off, last warning, mermaid. What or why? Rimuru jumps back and then pulls his hand back, swinging it, allowing the attack water blade to go right past the mermaid and his the ground. Rimuru. I mean, now let me get my partner. The mermaid, fearing for its life, quickly swims away as Rimuru uses Waterblade once more to cut Seal free. Before he can swim up, he hears what appears to be a struggle and someone being pulled from the water. Using his magic sense to focus in on who had to be pulled out, he sees it's the blonde French girl. Looking to the side, Rimuru sees a young girl who looks remarkably similar as the other two champions appear within sight. Rimuru sighs. Rimuru. Well, they're faster than I thought they would be. Does that one have a shark head? Choosing to ignore this, Rimuru uses Waterblade once more to get the girl free before grabbing her and going up with both Seal and the girl. 5 minutes later, Rimuru was allowed first place, but because he took someone he wasn't supposed to, one of the headmasters wanted him disqualified, but instead Rimuru ended up being knocked down to second place. The French girl tries to thank him, but Rimuru puts his hands up saying it isn't an issue before quickly making his way to Seal. Rimuru. So you're not going to tell me one of the mermaids tried something, or you all go back in there? Seal. No, they were doing such to all of the captives. I believe it was to check if we were all still alive. Rimuru. Gotcha. Rimuru gives a smile to Seal. Seal. Husband, why were you violent against that mermaid? It is not like you to go straight to violence. Rimuru scratches his cheek. Rimuru. Well, you see, it's hee. Ciel's eyes soften at this and a small smile graces her lips before she steps close to Rimuru. Seal. Cold. Rimuru. Wait, I thought we had Seal. Cold. Rimuru. Right, got it. Rimuru awkwardly looks around, spotting a towel. He grabs it and puts it over Seal, wrapping her up in it. Question: okay guys, so I'm being lazy and not feeling well, but I had a thought and unfortunately I can't remember the answer to this question. So, does Hinata, spoiler. Yes, I know she dies and comes back, but does she stay alive? I guess she would have to, but either way just want to make sure she's still alive because my ass is being sick and lazy and I don't want to look Please tell me because this is driving me insane. Part 26. Walpurgis is called okay, but is Santa a better wizard than Dumbledore? He's lived longer, so maybe. Does Santa have a Horcrux? Or a Philosopher's Stone? Okay, now onto the story. A silver-haired beauty sits alone, a cup of red liquid in her hand as she begins to grow irritated. This is the demon lord Luminous. Luminous. Sigh. Enough is enough. Luminous gets to her feet as a dark-haired beauty walks in, this being Hinata. Hinata. You wanted to see me, Luminous. Pack your bags. Hinata. What, Luminous? I'm curious about the world. Rimuru fins himself in. Hinata. Or you want a drinking buddy back? Hinata. What about the issue? What if something happens to time? Luminous. The others can handle it. Luminous says this before her ring starts ringing as Guy's voice rings out. Guy. Calling for a Walpurgis, need your agreement, and at that Luminous gives a sigh. Looks like she isn't leaving just yet. Meanwhile, Rimuru sits bored as he listens to the blonde boy from before drag on about himself. Rimuru. Kinda reminds me of Gabiru when I first met him. Wait. No, even then Gabiru had something that made him a bit more tolerable. This id just pure arrogance. Rimuru sits in a classroom. He was curious about what the lessons were like, but the teacher has yet to arrive and everyone is talking, but the blonde boy seems to be talking the loudest. Rimuru. Moreover, whose class is this? Seal. I believe this a history class. Rimuru. Okay, but where's to teacher Ron? Hey, what are you doing here exactly? Rimuru. Me, I'm curious about the classes, so I wanted to have a look. Ron. You've made a bad choice, mate. This class is nothing but nap time. Rimuru. What, Hermione? Well, it could use some variety. Rimuru. What do you mean by that, Ron? You see, as Ron says this, he leans in his left hand as a random student walks up to Rimuru and looks at him for a few seconds. She also appears to be wearing strange glasses, a strange something. Rimuru. Hi girl. Hello Luna, love, good. Rimuru. Rimuru Tempest. Luna. I know. Luna continues to look at Rimuru's head. Luna. You don't seem to have any rap spurts. Rimuru. Rap certs. Ron. Loony. Rimuru looks at Ron, who flinches at the looks, and then back to Luna. Rimuru. What are rap certs, Luna? They float in and out of your head and make your brain go all fuzzy. Rimuru. That's actually interesting, Luna. Here you go, you can read about them in here. Luna hands Rimuru a magazine from the looks of it as Rimuru accepts it. Rimuru. The Quibble Blonde. Better watch out, Pada is going to be joining the Loony Club. Rimuru looks back at the blonde Rimuru. Okay, seriously, what's your issue with me, and what do you all mean, Loony? Just because you can't see something doesn't mean it isn't real. Let's put this into perspective. I am not from this world, so the fact that two worlds can exist is accepted. Why can't these? What were they called again? Luna. Rap certs. Rimuru. Why can't they exist? Before a reply can be given, a ghost passes through a wall and everyone but Rimuru groans as Rimuru tilts his head confused. Luna. Bye, Rimuru. Rimuru turns his head and watches as Luna goes back to her seat before looking to the ghost before he leans against the wall, the ghost behind talking, completely ignoring Rimuru's presence. Even Hinata kicked him out of the classroom when she taught the kids about spirits. Rimuru. This guy's in his own world. Rimuru hears someone snoring. As he looks to where the noise is coming from, he sees Ron fast asleep. Rimuru. What the hell, and the teacher doesn't notice this. Rimuru looks around to see everyone is about to fall asleep save for Luna and Hermione. Rimuru. Okay, no. Rimuru turns and leaves the room, walking back to his own room. Once he arrives, his ring starts to make noise. Rimuru. For the love of Part 27, Walpurgis. Rimuru stands in the courtyard, a serious look on his face as Shion and Ranga are beside him. Several students look at him. Even the students from different schools are watching. A few professors come over to see what it is Rimuru is waiting for. Veldora. Are you sure I can't come? Veldora says this while sitting off to the side. Rimuru. Do you like your deserts, Veldora? Oh, that's still. Rimuru. And your sister will be there, Veldora. Ya know, it's such a nice day, I think I'll just go for a walk. This confuses the students. A door appears from nowhere in front of Rimuru. Rimuru. Always so dramatic. Still, the fact that this is possible. Dumbledore. And what is this, Mr. Tempest? Rimuru. None of your concern. For one, just focus on matters of your world. I'll be back later. Two maids appear as the door opens as they welcome Rimuru inside as Shion and Ranga walk in. Chloe. Have fun, Shuna. Come back safe, Diablo. Kukakuku, seeing that one. Perhaps I should sneak in. Rimuru. Don't even think about it, saying this, and with a sigh at the end Rimuru walks fully into the blinding light as the door shuts and disappears. Rimuru now stands in front of the other demon lords as he goes and takes his own seat. Guy. Good to see you. Rimuru looks at Guy, seeing if there's any truth to that, but not getting anything. Guy simply gives him a smirk. Guy. Don't look at me like that, I just want to know how it's going and how much longer you think you have to be in that world. Rimuru. I am planning on leaving after the third task. Luminous. And how long will that take, Rimuru? Well, I am no. Ramirez. Tell us when you'll be back home already, please. Luminous gains a look of irritation directed at Ramirez before it quickly leaves as she focuses once more on Rimuru and waits for his answer. Leon even looks at Rimuru as Guy follows suit and rests his head on his hand. Even Velzard looks at him, wondering when he'll be back. Rimuru. It's hard to say for sure, they haven't exactly told me when the third task will happen. Luminous. Sigh, maybe I should have someone come and help you, I'm getting tired of this. Guy. I'm sure it's fine, besides what has my interest is that world. Rimuru. Geez, give me a break already please, Leon. I'm curious as well as it. Rimuru. No, it's not, it's a different world altogether and it really sucks even just having to be there. The demon lords look at Rimuru. Ramirez. What's so bad about it? You're not usually like this, so it must be real bad, right? Rimuru. Just with what I've experienced makes me hate it as all. Meanwhile, Dumbledore enters his office, an annoyed look on his old face. Dumbledore. None of my concern, it happened on my school grounds, how could it not be my concern? This world or not, sigh, that boy, I should have never given him to the Dursellis, I should have kept him here and under my watch. No, it's too late for thoughts like that, I'll simply have to deal with things as they are. Dumbledore sits in his chair behind his desk as he takes out a piece of candy and eats it. Dumbledore. I wonder, does he even need to die now with his old body being dead? The Horcrux should be gone as well, so then. Does he really have to be involved? No, he must be involved, neither can live while the other survives. Meanwhile, Diablo. Shuna. What is it, Diablo? It was that old fool, the look in his eyes, he may try something. Chloe. He wasn't very happy when Rimuru-sensei told him to stay out of his business. Veldora. Hold on, Chloe. Veldora. When you were a kid you called Rimuru-sensei, then when you changed you started calling him Rimuru-san, now you're back to sensei, why? Chloe. Am I not ignoring the two? Diablo and Shuna look at each other. Shuna. What do you think he'll do, Diablo? Well, it's likely he may try a different way into our minds. Have felt him try and get in, I'm sure you have as well. Shuna. Hi, Diablo. I'm sure Rimuru-sama has felt it as well. For now let's wait and see what he tries to do. Meanwhile, Guy. For now let's wait and see if ya need a hand, though I'm sure a few here wouldn't mind giving you said hand. Guy glances at Ramirez and Luminous, though he knows if it came down to it he and Leon would help as well. Leon. This Dumbledore seems like a manipulator. It's likely with today's events he may try something. Velzard. Wonder how long it will take for Veldora to go mad, though he's been behaving a lot better lately. Rimuru. I think waiting is for the best, but please answer a question. Guy. What is it, Rimuru? Why did you call for a Walpurgis when you knew I was busy? Guy. Leon. I think he was bored and I wasn't going over for him to torment. Guy. Well, maybe if you, Leon. No, Ramirez. Oh, that's right, the labyrinth has done really well to Rimuru. Rimuru. Oh, really, Ramirez? Yeah, though everyone's kinda worried about you, even Masayuki is. Luminous. Rimuru looks to Luminous, who looks back. Luminous. What, Rimuru? Nothing, just you seem kinda irritated. Luminous. I had plans in place before this Walpurgis was called, we will leave it at that. Rimuru shocked face. K. Guy. Leon. No, the three others look at them. Rimuru. By the way, where Ramirez? They're keeping an eye on things with our world synchronizing to another's time, we gotta be careful, you know. Rimuru. Oh, Rimuru continues the conversation as they all seem to eventually make their way out of the meeting room and to where the food is prepared. Rimuru. This is nice, a lot better than what I've been dealing with. Rimuru smiles to himself as Ramirez rests on his head. Leon still shooting down Guy before he can even get a word in, and Luminous simply being quiet but occasionally making small talk with Rimuru. Rimuru. It's comfortable here. Rimuru feels like he doesn't need to be ready for something to immediately happen. He can even turn into his slime self without anyone caring, but when the Walpurgis is over he'll have to go back to Hogwarts and back to dealing with that world. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 28. Return to from Walpurgis. Rimuru is about to walk out from the Walpurgis until he hears laughter and a very familiar voice. Milam. Wahahaha, my bestie, I've found you. Rimuru raises his hands as Milam jumps at him. Rimuru. Wait, hold on. Crash. Milam crash into Rimuru as the two fly back. Ramirez and Luminous avoiding the flying duo. Once the dust settles, Rimuru is being crushed by Milam, who lets him go after 5 minutes of a welcome back hug. Milam. Welcome back, bestie. How was the other world? Rimuru. Well, it was Guy. It was horrible. Rimuru perks up and quickly looks to a Guy who has a cocky smirk. Milam. What do you mean, Guy? They bully him, hate him, they were even going to seal him away. A dark aura surrounds Milam as Leon, Ramirez and Luminous look at Guy like he grew a second head. Milam. Is it true? Do I need to go there? I'll take care of them. Rimuru. No, it's fine, that didn't happen, he's just joking, it's a bad joke. The dark aura that surrounded Milam disappears. Milam. Oh. Milam looks at Guy who still has his cocky smirk. Milam. That's not funny. Guy. I thought it was funny. Velzard smiles to herself, shaking her head gently with a soft smile on her face. Meanwhile, Dumbledore. Tell me, Mr. Veldora, how did you meet Mr. Tempest? Veldora. Huh. Wait, where did you even come from? Veldora looks side to side. He could have sworn 5 seconds ago no one was around. Dumbledore. Come now, I know my way around this school, but please do tell, how did you meet him? Veldora looks at Dumbledore, looking him straight into the eyes as a twinkle appears in Dumbledore's eyes before Veldoro's own eyes narrow, and with a flash right before Dumbledore's eyes Veldora seems to change, or perhaps he doesn't. Perhaps it was just the energy burst that unknown to Dumbledore Veldora let out to force him to back off, but in shock and slight fear Dumbledore takes a few steps back. Veldora. You alright, old man? Dumbledore. What are you? Veldora. Kuahaha, don't you know? Veldora pumps out his chest. Veldora. I am Veldora Tempest, sworn friend to Rimuru Tempest. Veldora turns and leaves, leaving a shocked and confused Dumbledore behind as he comes to a realization. Dumbledore. There is nothing I can do against them. The sound of something opening comes from the courtyard as Dumbledore quickly makes his way to said noise to see the door from before and Rimuru walking out, a calm look on his face as the door shuts and disappears. Dumbledore. I just hope he will offer his help to us. Dumbledore thinks this as the door completely disappears and Rimuru stands tall as the students look out of windows or the entrance to the castle, wondering what he had gone to do. None of them know it was more of a social visit that he was forced to go to, but nevertheless they all know that they didn't like the look of that door. Let me know what you think in the comments. Also, the No Way Home trailer looks awesome. Part 29. What did you do? Rimuru walks into the shared room and flops down onto the couch next to Veldora and outdoor, his hand to his head as he leans his elbow on the side of the couch. Rimuru. Please tell me nothing happened while I was gone. Chloe. Nothing of note. I talked to a ghost. Shuna. Convinced the house elves to set up a cooking area for me. Diablo. Assisted Lady Shuna. Rimuru. So everything went okay then. Veldora coughs as Rimuru's head snaps to him as Veldora quickly brings up a manga to hide his face. Veldora. Why do I do things? Rimuru is looking at Veldora, who is sweating bullets and trying to read his manga. Rimuru. What did you do? Veldora. Nothing. Rimuru. Veldora. No reply. Rimuru's eyes narrow. Rimuru. Veldora begins shaking. Rimuru. Answer me. Veldora. I may have, in a way, told. Well, you see, in a way I. Rimuru. Get to the point. I'm burning the manga. Veldora runs to Rimuru, essentially hugging him and launching the both of them over the couch and onto the ground. Veldora. No, please, not the sacred texts. I required their knowledge. Rimuru. Veldora, just tell me what happened and I won't do it. Veldora hugs Rimuru tighter, looking at him like a child would, begging for what Rimuru just said to be true. Veldora. I flexed my power to get the old man to back off. He tried to read my mind. Rimuru. Figures the old man would try something. Sigh. Alright Veldora, you can let go now. Veldora. Wah. Oh, Veldora jumps off of Rimuru as the two stand up. Rimuru. You said he tried to read your mind, did he say anything? Veldora. Well, he was asking how we met and what I was to you. Rimuru. How I met Veldora. Seal. It is likely that Dumbledore believed he could use Veldora to gain knowledge about you and that this knowledge could in some way be used against you, likely to get you to do something in return for his silence. Rimuru. Leon was right about that old man. Geez, is it too late to call for a Walpurgis to escape for a bit longer? Seal. If you do so, it is highly likely Dumbledore will try something once more while you are gone. Rimuru. Wait, but shouldn't have Veldora's energy been enough of a scare? Seal. Unsure. While I believe he would be hesitant to do something soon after the encounter with Veldora, however, it is also highly likely that he will act as the opportunity to do such would be lowered heavily after this. Rimuru. Wait, but shouldn't that make him think it would be a trap by that logic? Seal. Hi Rimuru. Wait, did you just... Oh. I love it when we agree on these things. Seal makes a noise that sounds similar to a giggle yet at the same time like a but the emotion behind it is clear. She agrees with Rimuru. Stopping the mental conversation and focuses back on the outside, Rimuru sighs to himself. Rimuru. For now we should wait and see what he does next. Let's hope he doesn't try something stupid again. And where have you been talking to a ghost? There are several here from the way things look. Veldora, taking this as a he's in the clear, goes back to his manga as Chloe perks up. Chloe. The girls' bathroom. Rimuru. Wait, what? Sheehan? You mean that one? Who screams alot. Sheehan makes the face of someone who just figured something out and then it turns to rage. Sheehan. All that water. Rimuru. I don't think I want to know. Shuna. Water? Shuna says this, but within a few seconds her eyes widen as she hides her mouth behind her sleeves as Diablo smiles to himself. Sheehan. What? She splashed me with the water from the sinks. Rimuru. Oh good, that's what she meant. Chloe. Huh, she hasn't done that to me. Rimuru. Time out. Chloe looks at Rimuru, ready for him to say something. Rimuru. Why is there a ghost in the bathroom? Chloe. She died there, she told me about it. Someone saying something in a made-up language according to her, and then yellow eyes. Rimuru. Well, that's creepy. Rimuru. Wait, she died from the eyes. Chloe. That's what she told me. Seal. Rimuru. Didn't we read about a snake? Well, eat a book that talked about a snake that could do that. Seal. Basilisk. Rimuru. And the made-up language. Seal. Likely Parseltongue. Rimuru. So bathroom with a big snake and someone who could control it. Rimuru. You don't think it's still there, do you? Seal. Likely. Rimuru. You think it's that chamber thing? The secret chambers. Seal. Chamber of Secrets. Rimuru. Yes, that's Seal. I do. Rimuru. Okay, for now let's all get some rest or something. I think a long day is ahead. Time skip. The sun has set, all of them all asleep save for the teachers roaming the halls to punish students that more about after hours, but Rimuru lays awake being held by Chloe, who snuggles him like a slime body pillow. Rimuru. Seal. These wizards. Do you think they ever stopped to ask this ghost girl how she died? Seal. With what we have witnessed from the wizards so far, it is unlikely. Rimuru. A school full of students and a sleeping monster that could probably eat them. Rimuru sighs to himself as Chloe holds him closer as Rimuru creates a slime hand and rubs Chloe's head, a small smile appearing on her face. Rimuru. I was a teacher myself. I can't really just let this go unchecked, even if these aren't my students, they're just kids. Rimuru looks at Chloe, who has a content smile on her face, and mentally smiles to himself. Rimuru. Okay, let's do this. Part 30. So the third task is... Rimuru lays down on the bed staring at the ceiling as Seal, who lays next to him, hums to herself. Interesting to Rimuru, it's opening to anime that she's humming, a soft smile on Rimuru's face as the two have been left alone while the others try and find out what the next task, but Rimuru really doesn't mind if they find out what it is. To Rimuru, this is bliss, that is until Veldora. KWA ha 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 ha. Rimuru. Sigh. Damn it, Rimuru opens one of his eyes to look at Veldora as Seal has stopped humming and is now openly glaring at Veldora, who of course takes no notice of the glare of Seal and the one-eye look of Rimuru. Veldora. My sworn brother, I have found out what the next task is. KWA ha 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 ha. Veldora pumps out his chest and places his hands as fists at his hips, laughing. As he does so, Rimuru now has both eyes open, not believing that Veldora was the first one to come back, and with the news of what the next task is, Rimuru and Seal share a look before looking back at Veldora. Rimuru. Okay, what is it then, Veldora? You will be tasked with burning down a maze. Rimuru. What, Veldora? I said Gua. The door flies open as it hits Veldora and slams him into the wall as Chloe is standing there and runs up to Rimuru. Xian, Shuna and Diablo rushing into the room. Chloe. It's a maze. The three who just made it into the room fall to their knees in failure as Rimuru looks at Chloe, who looks proud. Rimuru. A maze, huh? Veldora told me I'd have to burn down a maze. Chloe gains a sly look. Chloe. I may have noticed him listening in on my own investigation and said that loud enough for him to hear. Rimuru. And he fell for that. Sigh. Geez, Veldora, how did you fall for that? Veldora says something that is mumbled by the door that is currently holding him against the wall. Rimuru. Well, Rimuru jumps up to his feet, much to Seal's dismay, as Rimuru lifts his right hand and oats Chloe no the head. Rimuru. Thanks for the help, Chloe. Really, Chloe tilts her head down. She knows she's supposed to be grown, but this for her is bliss. The others look irritated until Rimuru tilts his body so that he can face all of them. Rimuru. And thank all of you. To you all did great. Diablo, Shuna and Xian gain looks of joy as Veldora mumbles more as Rimuru tries to keep himself from laughing. Rimuru. Yes, even you, Veldora, from the sounds of it, says yay as everyone enters the room, and Diablo closes the door as Veldora falls to the ground. Veldora. Ow. Rimuru looks at Veldora. Rimuru. That didn't actually hurt you, did it? Veldora. No, Rimuru. Wait. Chloe perks up hearing Rimuru say her name. Rimuru. You said it was a maze, right, Chloe? That's right. Rimuru. Huh, wonder if I'll have to answer a riddle or if there will be a minotaur. Huh, if it's a maze the goal is at the end, but. Seal. But there are likely traps, Rimuru. Yeah, wonder what they will end up being. The maze wouldn't attack me, right? Actually, that sounds kinda cool. Whatever, I'll think more in it later. Seal. Let's go. Seal. Hi, Chloe. Wait, go, Rimuru. Oh yeah, we're going to go get lunch. It's about that time. Wanna come with? Seal. Perhaps we should go once they are asleep. Rimuru. Why didn't we go last night? Flashback. Rimuru. Alright, let's do this. Chloe hugs Rimuru tighter. Rimuru. Gua. I can't get free. Chloe rolls over and tightens her hold in Rimuru, who is trying to get free before after 30 minutes he just gives up. Rimuru. Tomorrow then. Flashback. End. Rimuru. Oh yeah. Rimuru looks at Chloe right in the eyes as seconds tick by and Chloe behind to blush. Chloe. WH. What is it? Rimuru turns around, not saying anything as Chloe looks shocked at this, wondering what she did. Rimuru. Let's just go. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 31. Chamber of Secrets A.N. Okay, first Veldora, what the fuck? Okay, now onto the story. Rimuru walks through the hallways of Hogwarts. The moon sits high in the sky and everyone is well in the room. Rimuru gave the order to Diablo to stay put as Rimuru walks in front of a door as he enters it, quietly closing the door behind him so no one knows to look in. Here duo to the sound of a door opening. The closing. Rimuru now finds himself in the girls' bathroom. Myrtle. Who are you? Rimuru looks over towards the ceiling, seeing a ledge with a painted glass window and a ghost of a girl sitting on the ledge. Rimuru. I'm Rimuru. Myrtle. Here to bully me? Rimuru. No, I'm here because of what killed you. Myrtle looks confused as Rimuru looks around the room before walking closer to the sink faucets and notices a snake on one of them. Rimuru. Your name is Myrtle, right? Myrtle. That's right. Myrtle comes down and is now floating next to Rimuru as she looks to the sink that he stands in front of. Rimuru. You died in here, right? Saw something that was right here. Myrtle. Yes, Rimuru. And you heard someone say something. Myrtle. Yes, Rimuru. Do you remember what it was? Can you give your best attempt at saying those words? Myrtle is confused but complies, trying her best to remember the words she heard and repeat them. Doing so, the sink split apart and shows a giant hole. Rimuru. Thank you, Myrtle. You know you could die, Rimuru. It will be fine. Myrtle. You're like Chloe, different from everyone else, but in a nice way. Rimuru. Right, well, see ya. Rimuru takes a step, turning and throwing up a two-finger salute as he falls straight down. It takes a few minutes for solid ground to be under his feet again, but once it is, he hears a snapping. Looking down, Rimuru sees the bones of rats and the like. Rimuru. Must be what it eats. Seal. Ahead, Rimuru's eyes move from the bones to in front of him as he sees a strange shape, but it's not moving. Moving forward, Rimuru takes notice that it's just snakeskin. Rimuru. It's definitely a big one. Rimuru looks around him as he sighs. Rimuru. Ranga. A head pokes out of Rimuru's shadow. Ranga. Yes, Master. Rimuru. I don't want to take a chance. Don't come out of my shadow while we're down here, okay? In fact, I want you to keep your eyes closed the whole time. Got it? I'll tell you when to open them. Ranga. Will I not be needed for this fight? Rimuru. No, it's not even going to be a fight. Rimuru moves over to a door, looking at it. Rimuru. You think we can just use what Myrtle said for this? Seal. Possibly. Rimuru repeats what Myrtle said to open the sink passage as the door begins to open to reveal the Chamber of Secrets. Rimuru. I'll give credit, really running with the snake theme, and if I were a betting boy I'd say the basilisk is in the giant head. Magic again. Doubt the words to open the doors would work here, and if I break the magic on it, who knows if Dumbledore would somehow find out. Rimuru walks forward, keeping an eye on the snake pillars, feeling like they may attack him. Rimuru. Geez, this is just plain creepy still. Kinda impressive. Feels like I am in a video game about to fight a boss, actually. Wait, big room, one theme throughout it. This is a boss room. No focus. Rimuru now stands in front of the statue. He hears something behind the statue. The basilisk is obviously awake, and it obviously knows Rimuru is in the chamber, and if it's anything like the dragons, then it also knows how outclassed it is. Rimuru. With it being able to eat and shed skin, it obviously must have a way out of there. So Rimuru hears the sounds of something slithering around underneath him, and he can even see the water ripple slightly as the sound of hissing is now behind him and in one of the giant pipes. Rimuru. Is it running away? Seal. Unlikely. It is likely trying to sneak up on husband. Rimuru. Attack from behind. Clever, but a bad choice. Rimuru crosses his arms and waits silently as he hears the sound of the snake slithering getting closer before he throws his hand behind him and black flames shoot out, covering the snake that had attempted to sneak up on Rimuru. Rimuru blinds the snake using water blade, letting Seal guide the attack for the most part, but also playing it safe and not looking at the snake's eyes until they're destroyed. Hearing the sounds of the snake thrashing around at its now constantly burning skin and loss of eyesight, Rimuru turns around and looks at it. Rimuru. I know I didn't have to play it safe, but better safe than sorry, right? Rimuru raises his hands and draws his sword from his back and throws it straight through its open mouth. As its sword flies through the snake's head and becomes lodged into the wall, the basilisk falls to the ground. Rimuru. Now, if I'm remembering correctly, snakes' reflexes stay active for a while after they die, so avoid the mouth. Rimuru jumps upward towards his sword and grasps it, pulling it out of the wall. Rimuru. Oh yeah, it's safe. Ranga. Hi. Ranga's head pokes out of Rimuru's shadow as Rimuru begins to pet Ranga's head before standing up once more. Rimuru. Seal. Hi, Rimuru. You think that maybe there's something else in that big head? Seal. Hi, Rimuru. Looks like I'm finding another way in there. Rimuru takes a step forward before something dawns on him. Rimuru. Oh right. Turning around, Rimuru basically turns the flames off as he turns back around and begins looking around for entrance. He does eventually find one, the same one the basilisk had just used. Rimuru. Gross, it's wet and slimy. Wait, did I just insult myself? Deciding to leave that for later, Rimuru decides to just fly through it so he doesn't have to touch it and possibly deal with upset Shuna. Or Xian. Or Chloe. Rimuru. Actually, now that I think about it, I really hope that they don't wake up while I'm gone. After a few more minutes, Rimuru stands behind the giant stone head as torches light up, revealing several shedded snakeskins and also a few runes. Rimuru. Besides the skin, this place looks remarkable clean. Probably just magic. Rimuru looks at one of the doors and begins making his way to it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 32. Rimuru's Find and Disappointment. As Rimuru makes his way to the door, hopping over whatever lays in his way until he makes it, he grabs the handle and pushes the door open as the door makes a creaking sound in the dark room that is now visible once the door is opened. Completely torched light up from within the room, revealing what seems to be a bedroom. Rimuru. That's it. A bed, a desk, and a shelf. Rimuru walks in somewhat disappointed that this is all there is to this room. He knows that the Chamber of Secrets belonged to Salazar Slytherin, somebody one of the founders of this school. So Rimuru was kinda expecting his secret chamber to have a bit more. Rimuru lets out a sigh of disappointment until he notices something. Rimuru. A handle. Rimuru makes his way over to the bed. Looking underneath it, he sees an old rug and a handle to a trap door underneath sticking slightly out from underneath the bed. Rimuru. Maybe I'll get some secrets in. Huh. Rimuru takes a minute to completely push the bed out of the way. Once it is out of the way, Rimuru moves the carpet and lifts the trap door, opening said trap door, revealing a ladder that obviously leads down. Not wanting to deal with the ladder, Rimuru just jumps down as his feet touch the ground. Torches light up, revealing a study with a few books on a desk in the center of the room, bookshelves linking the walls and a few other areas. Rimuru walks up to the desk and has a look at the books on said desk. Rimuru. Books about immortality? Rimuru opens said book and begins flipping through it, becoming more disgusted by some of the methods to become immortal or as close to in this world. Rimuru. Oh my god, why do they know this? Who tried this? Why didn't anyone stop them? Rimuru continues to read, becoming confused at some of the more strange ways to have a longer life. Rimuru. Unicorn blood. Huh. Rimuru stops to wonder if any of the vampires he's met had drank it. Then again, it's probably best not to ask. Rimuru is about to close the book and set it down until a page falls out of the book. Rimuru tries to grab it several times before he manages it, setting the book down and looking at the page that came out. Rimuru. Legends. Ha. Rimuru. It's not from this book, it's a ripped page from another book. Seal. Demon Lords. Rimuru. What seal? The page mentions Demon Lords. Rimuru gains a look of shock and quickly reads the page, and seal is proven correct. The page does make mention of Demon Lord and their power as well as long lives. That said, there's no mention of any Demon Lord, and the way to become one doesn't appear to be mentioned either. Rimuru. How do they know about Demon Lords? Or maybe these aren't Demon Lords at all and are just people with more power and have found ways to extend their lives and just took on the name Demon Lords. Seal. It is a possibility. It is also possible that a being from our world came to this one and took on the title of Demon Lord but was killed once the true Demon Lords found out. Rimuru. In other words, there's no real proof that a real Demon Lord actually came here. We could ask Guy. But he didn't seem to really know much about this word. Strange, and why would someone want to become immortal so badly? Rimuru walks around seeing that most of these books are on the quote dark arts. Rimuru. Figures. Rimuru turns around, not seeing anything of any real interest, and leaves the room and heads to check out another room. One room seemed to be a trap filled with venomous snakes and giant spikes with a block at the end of it making quick work. Rimuru makes it to the end to check out the block. Rimuru lifts it up and spins it around in his hands before deciding to keep it and let Kaijin or somebody have a look at it. Rimuru, though, is petty sure he knows what it is. Rimuru soon leaves this room, heading to the next, seeing at the end nothing. Looks like somebody took what in this room. Rimuru. Wonder what it was. Looking around, Rimuru turns to leave until he sees a giant snake head in the wall. Looks like it's a lever. Rimuru. Swear if I was human I would have had a heart attack. How do I pull that lever? Using his thread skill, Rimuru wraps said thread around the tongue of the snake and pulls. The snake head slams down as something bangs to raise in the center of the room, revealing a gun. Rimuru. It's a gun. Kinda looks like Carrera's. Man, and I was expecting something big. Well, maybe I can give it to Carrera. That would probably be okay, right? Seal. Negative. Rimuru. What? Why seal? The others would become jealous and start a fight. Rimuru. Oh well, what do I do with it? I don't need it. Guess it stays. I mean by I guess Salazar's time. Yeah, I guess this stuff would be cool, but kinda boring. The block is fine. The gun for that time is impressive. Wait, Salazar was all about pure blood propaganda, right? Why did he have this? What does it shoot? Magic or something? Actually, that sounds possible with the stuff I've seen. Seal. Yes, it seems to act similarly to a wizard's wand. Rimuru. Still, why would somebody so obsessed with wizard blood status have this? Rimuru sighs, deciding he'll look around a bit more. Rimuru does so, but after a few minutes, and several more rooms and a number of books, magic items that would probably make several wizards' eyes widen in shock, Rimuru is completely bored. Rimuru. Yeah, no, I've come to the conclusion that for this word this stuff must be a big deal, but for me, it's boring. Rimuru says this as he drops a staff. Rimuru. Also staffs. Talk about. Generic. Why is this place so boring? I mean, most of this stuff I don't need. Maybe that's why it's boring. The real exciting thing was the basilisk. Rimuru walks into the last room and sees a big open area. Rimuru. This another boss room or something? Rimuru walks into the room expecting something to attack high. Taking note of the carvings of snakes on the walls, Rimuru looks around, only seeing the carvings, all the words he can't really understand. Not that he really cares too much. For the most part it seems like somebody has already been here and used or did stuff here. Deciding he's had enough, Rimuru leaves the chamber until he stops and turns around. Rimuru. Seal. Hi. Rimuru walks up to the end of the room and places his hands on the wall. Rimuru. Please be a secret door. Please be a secret door. Rimuru pushes on the wall as it opens, revealing it is in fact a secret door. Rimuru. Yay. Rimuru walks down the staircase as it leads to another room, but this one has a gate. Rimuru. Okay, this is a find. Rimuru. Wonder what it's for. Rimuru inspects said gate, allowing Seal to do most of the work as he waits for her to tell him what this gate does. Seal. It's a demonic gate. More of an imitation of one. But it seems to have been made in the hope of getting only certain types of demons. Rimuru. I'm guessing snake-like ones. Dumbasses. Rimuru quickly destroys the gate and leaves the room. Rimuru. Salazar Slytherin, a blood purist who decided that having a basilisk sleep underneath the school was a good idea because he didn't like that some people fell in love with people that weren't magical, or that non-magic families were having magical children. On another note, he somehow managed to get his hands on a gun that shouldn't have been made. Then guess somebody fucked the duck on that one, not me or Chloe, and I'm betting it wasn't Velgrand either. He also threw, hey, let's have a gate so I can summon demon, but only snake demons because snakes are cool. This guy was a Marone. Let's also mention that he made a chamber that I assume was meant to be a secret. And somehow, some way, everyone found out about it. Am I missing anything? Seal. The notes. Rimuru. Oh right, and apparently he or somebody else who found the chamber but wasn't attacked by the basilisk somehow was obsessed with living forever. Well, I can say this about Slytherin. He picked a mascot and ran with it. Kinda reminds me of somebody now that I think about it. Seal. Would this be Batman? Rimuru. It would be Batman. Yes, let's go already. Seal. How many hours have passed since we got down here? Seal. It is almost 6:30 a.m. Rimuru. How? Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 33. Out from the chamber, Rimuru has returned to the main castle, leaving the girls' bathroom unnoticed, but not before asking Myrtle not to tell anyone that he went into it or did anything. Once she agreed, he leaves the area, walking around the school as the classes have just begun. Rimuru walks through a hallway before he sees a glass case for Quidditch. Looking at it, Rimuru sees a name on it that he recognizes. Rimuru. James Potter Dumbledore. Yes, he was a talented player. Rimuru's eyes take an annoyed, narrow look as he turns to face Dumbledore. Dumbledore. Do you have any interest in Quidditch, my boy? I'm sure I can get the teams to let you try out. Rimuru. No thanks, I'm fine as I am. I don't have much time for sports like Quidditch. Dumbledore. I see. Rimuru nods his head before he leaves the case and Dumbledore behind him. Rimuru. Seal. Yes, Rimuru. I want to know whenever he's behind me from now on, especially when he sneaks up on me. Seal. Hi. Rimuru turns down a hallway but stops as Chloe is in front of him, almost having bumped into him. Chloe. Rimuru-sensei, there you are. Rimuru. What's wrong? Chloe. Nothing, but we noticed you weren't in the room. Diablo only said that you had went to do something. Was everything okay? We're worried that you might have left the school grounds. Rimuru smiles to himself. Of course they would be more worried than upset. Rimuru. Everything's fine, come on, I'll make you hot chocolate. Rimuru walks past Chloe, motioning for her to follow. Chloe. Rimuru-sensei, I'm not a kid anymore. Rimuru. Oh, so you don't want it? Chloe. I didn't say that. Chloe pouts at Rimuru as he smiles. Rimuru. I'm just teasing, come on. Chloe follows after Rimuru, rushing so that she can walk beside him. Time skip. Rimuru and his group are waiting in the Great Hall for dinner to begin once more. Shuna has found a way to make Rimuru and everyone a meal, much to the house elf's annoyance, but it seems like Dumbledore has a message for the champions. Dumbledore. Yes, a wonderful day of classes over, and as the end of the tournament begins to come closer, I feel the need to warn you. To be careful. Not only will your magical abilities be put to the test, but so will your intelligence. Just something to think about. Champions, now for dinner. And with some more words, Rimuru doest care about food begins to appear in front of the students as Rimuru and his group begin to eat themselves. Rimuru. Magical ability and intelligence seal. Smug, we win. Rimuru. That's a bit harsh, isn't it? Just saying we've already won. Seal. Husband. Rimuru. Fair seal. Husband, when will we be alone once more? Rimuru. What will? I'm not too sure. Why do you ask? Seal. No reason. Rimuru. Liar, there's definitely a reason, so what is it? Seal. Doesn't matter. Rimuru. You. Rimuru annoying takes a bite of rice and begins chewing. Let me know what you think in the comments. Yeah, I know it's a short chapter, sorry about that. Part 34. Alone time. Night has fallen once more as the students all rest easily in the castle. There is one blue-haired demon lord making his way to a room to be alone. As he arrives at his destination, the prefect's bathroom, Rimuru quickly puts a barrier up so that he can really be left alone. He also covers the mermaid painting. Rimuru. All right, Seal, we're alone now, just like you wanted. Seal appears behind Rimuru, a small smile on her face as she takes Rimuru's hand and forces him to fall with her into the bath, creating a splash. Swimming up to the top of the water, Rimuru looks at a still smiling Seal, annoyed at being dragged in while his clothes are still on. Rimuru. What was that for? Seal. Earlier. Rimuru. What? But I didn't do anything earlier. Seal make it a rather cute pouting face as Rimuru scrambles today that he's really sorry for whatever it is he did earlier, trying to get her to stop that as she seems to get closer to the panicking Rimuru until she latches onto him in a tight hug. Rimuru. Huh, Seal. I wanted to be alone with husband. Rimuru. But we were alone in the chamber. Seal. False. Ranga was there. Rimuru. Right. Guess the last time we were alone peacefully was before Veldora busted into the room, wasn't it? Seal nods her head. Rimuru. You know I'm still in my clothes right in the bath. Seal. Punishment. Rimuru. Seal. Punishment. Seal tone seems to leave no room for argument as Rimuru lowers his head. Rimuru. Right. Punishment. Wait, punishment for what? Rimuru yells this out as Seal turns her head, becoming a slime and using the water-propelling move to get on top of Rimuru's head. Scene change. Dumbledore sits in his office, his eyes closed as he thinks of a way to her Rimuru or his knowledge to open up to him. Dumbledore. Another world. What is it like? The magic there is different from here. What kind of things did he do there to gain these allies? The knowledge this other world has could be incredibly helpful. Yet Rimuru and this Veldora quickly noticed when I tried to use my legilimency I couldn't even get into their minds. Well, if everything goes correctly, Tom will make his move and use Rimuru's blood to come back. After that I'll have to try get the other Horcrux and destroy them. It's a shame that the false piece has to end, but at the end of this I will have won. A shame. It's likely that Tom will kill Rimuru. Wait. What if he can't? Rimuru is from another world. What if they have a way to stop the killing curse rather than just what Lily did? Not to mention that his return has set all this back in motion. No, I knew that he would find a way back even if Rimuru didn't return. For now I'll proceed as if everything is normal. A shame. It may be sacrifices have to be made for the greater good. On another matter, who is this Seal woman? She looks so like him, yet they claim not to be related but married. Strange. Meanwhile, Rimuru. Can I please take my clothes off in the bath now? Seal. Punishment. Rimuru. Can I at least turn into a slime? Seal. Punishment. Rimuru picks Seal off his head and looks at her slime form as she begins to lose her ball-like form, rather like what happened to Rimuru when he first met the elves at that tavern. Honestly cannot remember the name. Rimuru. Soft. Rimuru hugs Seal close as smoke rises from Ciel's head as Rimuru lifts her up to eye level, quickly freaking out at the steam and loose form she seems to be in until Ciel forces herself to return to normal. Ciel. I will allow the punishment to end now, for another hug. Rimuru smiles at Ciel. Rimuru. What did you say? I couldn't hear that. Ciel. It was nothing, just your imagination. Rimuru. Sure it was. Giving Ciel what she wants. Ciel is enjoying herself as Rimuru just laughs as her slime body loses its ball-like form once more. Rimuru. Ciel. Thank you, Ciel. Husband. Ciel's tone questioning Rimuru. Rimuru. Nothing, just wanted to say thank you, Ciel. Liar, there is a deeper meaning. Why are you thanking me? Rimuru. That deeper meaning, it's just your imagination. If Seal could, she would pout at Rimuru right now, but upon hearing his laugh and being given a hug, she's enjoying herself too much to be pouting right now, so she'll let Rimuru get away with it this time. And soon enough Rimuru puts Seal back on his head as he turns into his own slime form, Seal resting stop of him. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 35. Diablo's report and Seal's plan. Rimuru heads back to the room holding Ciel's hand as they do so, sneaking around the castle with the goal being to get back to their room, as Ciel smiles while looking at Rimuru holding her hand as Rimuru quickly moves into a room, pulling Ciel with him and holding her close as her hands are against his chest. Footsteps are heard walking down the hallway. Ciel. Husband Rimuru looks down at Ciel with a single eyebrow raised. Ciel. Why are we sneaking around? They can't do anything to us. Rimuru. Oh. Well, it's embarrassing to say, but I'm kinda living out an old fantasy of sneaking around with a girl. Ciel. Oh. I see. Ciel lays her head in Rimuru's chest holding her breath even though she doesn't need to breathe. Ciel. Then. Let us live out this fantasy of yours. Once the footsteps leave the hallway, they exit the room and quickly start making their way back to their room, a smile on both of their faces, for Rimuru a wide toothy smile and for Ciel a small smile that is barely noticeable as they make it back to their room without ever being caught. Diablo. Welcome back Rimuru-sama. Ciel-sama. Rimuru. Diablo. Hey. Ciel. Husband, could I give Diablo a order? Rimuru. Huh, well sure. Rimuru smiles at Ciel and begins walking towards the bedchambers. Rimuru. I'm a head up, you can come up after you do what you want. Ciel. Hi. Once Rimuru is gone, Ciel looks at Diablo, who immediately understands he's about to be given a mission. The next day Rimuru lays in his bed, Ciel laying her head against his chest as everyone sits around thinking about the maze. Diablo. I have here a report from one Rita Skeeter about this Voldemort and what he has done. Noticeably, he appears to be responsible for the deaths of Lily and James Potter, as well as several dark rituals. An army of Death Eaters, most of whom once brought to a judge, appear to have all said that they were under a curse, one that apparently influenced their minds. This, however, was never proved, but they were set free. Furthermore, it's at this point that Rimuru begins to think about something. Rimuru. Lily and James, huh? Never really thought about it, but if they lived, would I have eventually still become who I am now, or would something else have happened to make sure they died? Wait, what did Diablo just say? Rimuru looks at Diablo, raising a hand signaling for him to wait a moment, and he does so. Rimuru. What did you just say? He was able to do what? Diablo. Oh yes, from what this says it's highly believed that he was able to convince or torture Sirius Black. However, it was later found out that one Peter Pettigrew was a secret keeper. From what this says, a secret keeper is a part of a spell to hide someone where only one person truly knows where they are. Rimuru. So that's what he meant by only being recently freed. If they thought it was him, they probably put him in a cell. Still, that's a while to have to wait. Diablo. From my understanding, they appear to have sent him to a place called Azkaban, a place with creatures known as Dementors acting as guards. They appear to have the power to suck out a person's soul, being delivering what is known as a Dementor's kiss. Rimuru's eyes widen at this bit of information, not liking the way it sounds, and it's not just him. Chloe. That's horrible, Shuna. And they sent him there without giving him a chance to speak. Rimuru. Geez. That's just wow. Diablo. Indeed, these creatures are also very ugly. Rimuru sighs at this but chooses to ignore it. Rimuru. So tell me, Ciel, why did you have Diablo look into this? We got some of this information already. Ciel. Because I have a belief that this Voldemort is the one behind summoning husband here. Rimuru. What? How? Wait, you don't think he made Horcrux, do you? Ciel. I do believe so, and I believe that night he attacked husband his body was destroyed, and I believe it's safe to assume he believes that with you he can regain a body. Rimuru. But if that's the case, how has no one else thought about it? Surely someone thought it was off about me and Chloe being summoned, even if she wasn't meant to be. Ciel. I believe you put too much hope in them, or maybe someone already has thought of this possibility and wants it to happen. Rimuru. That's insane. That would mean putting these kids that are in the tournament in even more danger. Ciel. Hi. I believe husband should win this tournament seriously rather than at the comfortable pace you have been moving. And I believe putting in a show for this Dark Lord is needed. Rimuru. Well, I can't just in good conscience let a madman run wild, but why would I put on a show? Ciel. It is likely his followers will appear a show of power is needed to make them submit. Rimuru. Sigh, this is such a headache. Alright Seal, I trust you. What do you want to do? Seal. Diablo. Can you get them? Even if not all three, it will be fine. Diablo gives a bow. Diablo. I shall get the three of them. Shuna. Wait, you mean? But why would you want them? Seal. A show of power, one that shows if they serve under him, then how much stronger must he be. I would like them to join Ranga in husband's shadow. Ranga pops his head up quickly. Ranga. Guests Rimuru. Question. Seal looks at Rimuru. Rimuru. Don't you think those three are a little overkill? Maybe just two of them or just one would do. I mean, we could probably just have Sheehan come with. Seal. Unfortunately we cannot. None of the ones here may go, as they will likely be expected to be in the seats. Rimuru. What about Veldora? Couldn't I just make him another body to inhabit for a bit? Seal. Veldora perks up at the chance to get to go with until. Rimuru. Right, overkill. Veldora goes back to reading his manga, pouting as he does so before he gets excited and has to resist kicking his feet. Rimuru. I just think bringing them would be real overkill. Seal. Over well. Just two then. Diablo. Diablo. Hi. Rimuru. I got a bad feeling about this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 36. Enter Ultima and Carrera. Ladies and gentlemen. Buff Rimuru. Rimuru sits with Seal alone in the room as Rimuru looks at Seal with a questioning face. Rimuru. Seal. Why them? And why is this plan of yours way more simply than normal? Seal. I believe those two will be useful, that is all. Rimuru. Okay fine, I get that, but what is it that makes you think that Volde whatever is still alive? Seal. It is a theory. First of all, do you remember when Veldora and the others first came here and said you would have to go back? Rimuru. Yeah, I do. Seal. The face that Dumbledore made wasn't one of sadness, it was a face of a man who was ready to force you to stay. Yes, I'll acknowledge that there was some sadness mixed in, like he didn't want to cause you pain. But why would someone who didn't want to hurt you also make that face? Sirius Black, for instance, had a look about him that screamed sadness and fear. Even they both hid them well. But hiding something from me is not likely to happen. Then when we read the books, we've read history of Dark Lords and even learning what a Horcrux is. I believe that he is still alive. Rimuru. So if that's your reasoning, don't you think we need more though? Seal. There was also the books in the chamber about immortality. Those books compared to the others were in better condition. They were in a simply term newer looking, and with the knowledge we gained from the library, Voldemort means flight from death. That, and with the knowledge of the immortality books and knowledge of the Horcrux, I believe it is likely he found either a way of becoming immortal to an extent or he made Horcrux. Rimuru nods his head, understanding so far. Rimuru. And you just happen to think that bringing two demons would be useful against that? Seal. As I said before, these followers of his, I believe he may have a way to contact them and call them to him. This is nothing but a theory, but I believe it possible, so I believe he will throw those who follow him at you, husband. And I believe it only right to return in kind. Rimuru leans back. He knows he's not going to be able to talk Seal out of this, but he does acknowledge that her theory does seem possible. Bending his head so he can look up towards the ceiling, Rimuru decides he's better of going with the flow on this one and just letting Seal do this. He just hoped that those two stay in here or in his shadow. If they didn't and he had to explain them, who knows how people would react to more people coming here. Looking at Seal one last time, Rimuru gives a sigh. Rimuru. Fine fine, you win. With these words, Ciel's smile from when they were moving around together returns. Rimuru goes to fall back into Seal, catches his hand and manages to get Rimuru's head to lay on her lap as she moves the hair that covers Rimuru's eyes. Seal knows what Rimuru is thinking. She knows the reaction he would have if he could blush, and even just imagining it is enough to make her chuckle. But it's at this moment the door opens once more with Diablo walking in, followed by Ultima and Carrera, both who seem to be smiling. Rimuru moved his head so he can see them. Rimuru. Hi. The two beam as Diablo moved to shut the door. Ultima. Rimuru-sama, I caught two thieves and one pervert in Tempest. Carrera. She's lying, they were my catch. Rimuru-sama. The two girls quickly glare at each other before Diablo seems to appear behind them, both seeing as their heads now have bums on them. Diablo. Please forgive them, Rimuru-sama, they just seem to be excited to get to be of use to you. Rimuru just shakes his head at the antics of these two, but oh well. Rimuru. Wait. A pervert. Did Gobta do something I should know about? Meanwhile in Tempest, Gobta hangs by his jacket from a high tree. A bruised and bloody face laughing can be heard behind him, as it seems he is facing away from the hot springs. Gobta. How much? How much longer? I can't take this. I need to see. Gobta tries to wiggle as if attempting to force the tree to move until he hears a sword unsheathed and he stops dead in his tracks. Hakuro. There we go, you know it's only 3 days. Hakuro says this with a smile before his face darkens and his eyes open, his smile now gone. Hakuro. Unless you would like to go with the second option they gave you. Gobta. I didn't do it, I already said I didn't. Gobta stops as the glare from Hakuro seems to intensify until somebody walks up. Hakuro. Oh, Hakuro turns around and sees trainee Hakuro, who has already sheathed his blade, gives a slight bow to trainee. Hakuro. He has been complaining. Do I take it you're here to do what was asked of you? Trainee. Hi. Walking towards the tree, trainee looks up at Gobta, who has sweat rolling down his face. Trainee. Ready, Gobta? N. No. Trainee touched the tree as it seems to grow taller, rocketing upwards as Gobta screams as the tree does so until it stops. Gobta. This punishment sucks. More laughter can be heard as Gobta lets out a scream of unbridled rage and regret. Meanwhile Rimuru lays still, imagining what had happened until someone seems to be yelling from the outside of the room. Draco. Portal POTTAH. Answer me, Diablo. Why? The Diablo gains a look of annoyance. Carrera. Allow me. Carrera flips her trench coat and begins to make her way to the door, likely ready to punch the boy's face in. Ultima. No me. Ultima gets in front of Carrera, who knows what she'll do to the boy. Rimuru. Wait, no, you two need to hide in my shadow. Using shadow movement I'll deal with it, and no matter what, don't come out. Got it? The two girls hang their heads but nod nonetheless, doing as ordered. They see Ranga, who is wagging his tail at the company. Rimuru gets up and makes his way to greet who is at the door. Rimuru. Hello. Oh, it's you. My father will hear about this kid. Draco. Very funny, that old fool wants to see you. Rimuru. Draco. Dumbledore, you fool. Rimuru. Oh, all right, thanks. Draco lets out a low growl, upset that Rimuru isn't getting riled up, but Diablo clenches his fist and Seal now has a glare on her face. Rimuru just smiles as Draco turns and leaves. Rimuru. You can't do anything to him, that goes to all of you. Rimuru smirks as he sees the angry faces on his companions be replaced with shock and confusion. Rimuru knows them enough to know what they were thinking, and he knows that they thought he didn't see their reactions, but he could hear the fist clench from Diablo. Rimuru. Welp, I'll be back in a bit. Gotta go have a talk with Dumbledore. Bye. Rimuru gives a wave as Seal quickly jumps onto his back, remerging with him while nobody can see, leaving Diablo alone in the room as he looks around and lifts his hand, pulling his glove on his right hand down on his hand as he begins cleaning and making the beds and preparing coffee and tea for his master to choose from when Rimuru returns. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 37, A Death. Rimuru entered Dumbledore's office hoping that this visit won't take too long. He was comfortable laying with Seal. And if Dumbledore says the wrong thing, then he's going to have to count on Ranga and Seal to keep not only their cool but also keep Ultima and Carrera calm as well. Once he's at the door and about to open said door, Rimuru hears what appears to be arguing before the door swings open. Looking inside, Rimuru sees not only Dumbledore but Moody and Fudge. Fudge. Ah, Rimuru, how are you? Rimuru is about to reply, but before he can, Dumbledore acts first. Dumbledore. Well, we'll have to save the pleasantries for a later date if you would. Dumbledore and Moody, as if in perfect sync, show Fudge the way out, leaving Rimuru alone in the office. Dumbledore. Oh, do help yourself to some sweets, but be careful, those ones there tend to bite back if you are not quick enough. Dumbledore points to some dark candies in a bowl that's sitting on a table as he and the other two wizards leave Rimuru, who to their knowledge is alone. As Rimuru looks around looking at the candy, Dumbledore pointed him to looking down at it as he sees it move slightly, almost like a worm. Rimuru. Yeah. No painting. A wise decision, youngster. Rimuru looks back at this, not too shocked at the talking paintings but more in shock that under the painting says former headmaster and then the name, but Rimuru finds it weird to have a painting of a past headmaster, but two others who are watching in the shadows or more in Rimuru's shadow react differently. Ultima. Did that painting just talk? Carrera. Yeah. Both. I wonder if we can get that but with a picture of Rimuru-sama. Ranga simply tilts his head as Rimuru just looks around the office bored. Why would Dumbledore call him here when he was just going to leave? With this on his mind, Rimuru sees a bird sitting on a perch. As he walks over to said bird, its red and gold feathers beautifully shining as if on fire yet not. Rimuru. This is a phoenix seal. Husband Dumbledore is approaching. Rimuru. Thank you. Choosing to return to standing next to the candy, Rimuru leans on the table as Dumbledore enters his office. Seeing Rimuru had been waiting for him and hadn't gone snooping to a degree that would allow him to see what he had left open. Dumbledore. Rimuru, please this way. Rimuru watched as Dumbledore raises his hand, motioning to his desk and to a chair as Dumbledore has already begun to make his way to behind his desk. Taking his seat, Rimuru follows suit, not wanting to give the man a reason to complain more than what he already feels like is going to happen. Dumbledore. I'm sorry to say this, my boy, as it would make it appears as if I'm putting suspicion on you, but I must ask, have you met Barty Crouch? Seeing the look of confusion on Rimuru's face, Dumbledore sighs to himself. He is sure they've met, but perhaps they hadn't met in the more talkative way he had been hoping for. Dumbledore. Well, at any rate, he was found dead this evening. It is with this that the gears in Rimuru's and Ciel's head begin to turn, and they both believe they know where this is going. Dumbledore. He apparently beforehand been mumbling about meeting the two of us and giving us a warning. Would you happen to know anything? Rimuru. You said he had been saying he needed to meet with us, as in you and me. Seeing how I didn't even know his name until 5 seconds ago, I'm inclined to believe you would know more about this situation than me. Rimuru's subconscious smirks. All this time of putting up with people has really helped him, though he swears he heard Ciel just giggle at his subconscious smirk. But anyway, Rimuru really thinks Dumbledore knows more than what he's saying. Rimuru. Just telling me out of the blue that some guy died and he wanted to meet with me before he had died. I am getting the feeling that this isn't going to bode well for me. Dumbledore looks at Rimuru once more. His eyes gain that twinkle before it disappears. Dumbledore. Once more, I cannot enter your mind. I had hoped that perhaps giving you news of a death and them wanting to meet you would get you to lower your guard from shock. I see now that was wrong. The knowledge in that head of yours. Dumbledore looks at Rimuru before he leans back in his seat. Dumbledore. It is a strange situation. You must understand this. Above all, I'm concerned with why he wanted to meet with you. Rimuru. Meet with us, Dumbledore. Yes, of course, meet with us. My mistake and his sudden death. Mind you, I don't believe you did anything or any of your friends. But I'm concerned, Rimuru. You may be in some kind of danger. People do not just drop dead, you see. Rimuru. What do you want from me, Dumbledore? I'm simply offering you a helping hand. I'm sure you could use one in this world. Rimuru. While I appreciate the offer, I don't need the help. I'm more than capable of defending myself both physically and I've done some light reading. I think I'm good on the political end as well. Rimuru. So long as I don't let any of you find out the truth of me being a slime. Dumbledore. I see. Dumbledore had not wanted to hear that, but little does he know that it was Ciel who had told Rimuru to say that. Rimuru just trusts Ciel to know better, and it's not completely untrue now, though. Following Ciel's words once more, Rimuru's eyes narrowed. Just this act alone seems to catch Dumbledore off guard as he leans back. Dumbledore. I simply just wanted to know if there was a way I could help you. This threat to you may be something you alone may not be able to handle, and you never know who could be against you. Rimuru. Did you perhaps in the back of your mind think that one of my friends had done it, even though you just said you didn't believe that that was what had happened? The way you're wording everything is causing me to believe the opposite. This catches Dumbledore off guard. Maybe the last thing he had said wasn't the right words, but for Rimuru he is doing just as Ciel has told him to sound dangerous. Dumbledore immediately catches this and knows that he must play his cards correctly to keep Rimuru from doing something. After all, he doesn't know how temperamental he can be or what he's really capable of. He made a dragon behave like a dog, and the mermaids fear him now as well. With this knowledge, Dumbledore decides to be careful. Dumbledore. I did not. I had simply been worried. I apologize if that is what I made it seem like I was getting at. Rimuru looks at Dumbledore, but for Dumbledore it's almost as if he's being watched for any sudden movements or reaction by a monster far stronger than he can fathom. It's as if he's being watched in all directions until this feeling goes away simply by a smile appearing on Rimuru's face. Rimuru. Good. I just want you to know that we have a rule about this sort of stuff, so I can promise you none of us did anything. If that's all, Headmaster, I'll be going. Rimuru gets to his feet and begins to walk out until Dumbledore calls to him. Dumbledore. Just one more thing, if you wouldn't mind. Rimuru doesn't even turn around. He simply stands still, but he does turn his head and looks Dumbledore straight in the eye. Dumbledore. If you could. Please keep an eye out for anything suspicious and do be careful. Rimuru. Sure. With this, Rimuru leaves Dumbledore alone in his office. Dumbledore. Well, it's not much. But his last smile seemed to be genuine. So perhaps I'm getting closer to earning his trust, though I didn't expect him to accuse me of thinking one of his friends did it. I think I should be able to earn his trust and alliance if I'm careful. For now, this will have to do. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 38, Spider Slime. Rimuru has exited Dumbledore's office and looks back at the griffin door. Oh my God, how did I never notice that? Rimuru looks back with a slight glare. He didn't like that conversation. And it's made worse by the feeling that Dumbledore could turn this unfortunate event on him and even possible pin it on him. This place seems to have enough issues. Why not throw crooked headmasters in the mix? That said, Rimuru looks down at his shadow. Rimuru. Well, at least they behaved themselves. That's good news. Turning a corner, Rimuru sees an empty hallway, but Rimuru knows better thanks to his magic sense. He quickly raises his left hand and catches a ball that was thrown at him and dodges the next by leaning back as the ball that was dodges hits the wall and explodes in green slime. Rimuru tosses the ball he caught up and down before throwing it back at the two who threw the two balls first as it hits and explodes, covering the two red-haired brothers as Rimuru looks to the side towards them. Rimuru. It's Fred and George, right? Not bad. Rimuru's eyes flicker towards his shadow, seeing it flinch slightly as if it was retreating under his gaze before he looks back at the two brothers and gives a lazy wave as he walks away. Rimuru. But maybe you should pick your targets a bit better. And with this, Rimuru leaves the two brothers covered in their own slime. Fred. George. Yes, Fred. Did we just lose in one go? George. This must be a nightmare. Meanwhile, Rimuru has both hands in his pockets as he walks up the stairs back to his group's room. Rimuru. Yeah, no. I had a thought. Seal. What is it? Rimuru. My magic sense allows me to see basically everything around me, right? Seal begins to wonder where Rimuru is going with this. Rimuru. And then we can slow things down to react better, right, and to think things through. Seal. Yes, Rimuru. It's kinda like spider sense, isn't it? Seal. I suppose you might be able to look at it that way. Rimuru. And I can basically shoot webs, right? Seal. Where are you? Husband, no. Rimuru. Spider slime. Seal. Rimuru. Spectacular spider slime. Seal. Husband. Rimuru. Oh, come on, it's fun. Seal. Not that you've become distracted. We've been standing at the door to our room for a total of 2 minutes. Rimuru. Oh. Rimuru enters the room slightly embarrassed. He swears he was using thought acceleration. So how long was he singing the spectacular spider slime? This is what he gets for having fun. Walking inside, he sees Diablo has already pre-made tea for him, and Seal as Shuna seems to have somehow gotten a stove in this room. Rimuru. How did you do that? Rimuru points to the stove that Shuna is currently cooking with as she looks over and smiles. Shuna. It was a gift from Sirius. He had his house elf bring it and Diablo helped to make it usable, though I must say, creature is rather rude. Sheehan. He's lucky he got away when he did. I was about to introduce him to Hercules' Edge. Rimuru. That might have been an issue. Oh well. Chloe. So, did Dumbledore want something, or was it just a social visit? Rimuru. Well, apparently. One moment, you two can come out now. With this, Ultima and Carrera both come out from Rimuru's shadow. Rimuru raises a finger to Chloe, letting her know to give him a second as he turns to the two girls. Rimuru. You did good. But would you mind telling me what the issue was with those two brothers? Ultima. They threw something at you. The group perks up, confused more than anything. Carrera. We weren't going to hurt them too badly. Ultima nods her head rapidly as Rimuru sighs. Rimuru. These two, shaking his head. Rimuru looks at the two. Rimuru. Just try not to react like that. If you had done something, who knows what could end up happening. Rimuru turns back to Chloe to explain what had happened, and after doing so, Chloe comes to the conclusion that Dumbledore was probably planning to use this death against them. To get a favor or something like that. With a shrug, Rimuru says it's not too important right now, but it is something to keep in mind at the same time, and chooses to enjoy Diablo tea as Seal appears on the outside once more to sit beside him as they all wait for Shuna to finish cooking. Rimuru being happy that Shion seems to upset with whatever creature did and whatever that is. Rimuru both thanks and pities the house elf. As for why Rimuru is happy, it means Shion isn't cooking while she makes good food. The looks matter to Rimuru. Takes a sip as Seal seems to watch him. After a few moments the girls all begin talking as Rimuru begins to think. Rimuru. The next task will be starting soon. I'm betting that it's going to start once that maze is finished growing. Wonder what I'll encounter there. Well, whatever, doubt it will be as bad as anything I am used to. Actually, now that I'm remembering what I'm used to, I can't help but wonder. Rimuru looks towards Diablo, curiosity clear on his face as Diablo begins to worry he had done something wrong. He knows the look of curiosity on his lord's face, but to him that could mean all sorts of things. It could be curiosity at a mistake Diablo made unknowingly. Rimuru. Diablo listens to his lord's voice, soft, but it's clear he has something that just dawned on him, so Diablo readies himself to do whatever it is that Rimuru asks of him. If it be to conquer this world and hand it to Rimuru, so be it. If it's to fold the blankets in a shape of his lord's choosing, he is ready. Rimuru. I want you to go to Rita. Try and have her find some information for me. Diablo. And, if I may ask Rimuru-sama, what information would you like? Rimuru. I want you to have her look for information on a family called the Dursleys. She may have to go to normal human papers, but I'm betting the prophet has something. Diablo gives a slight bow. He had overheard a few conversations from a few teachers that spoke about Rimuru and how he had died the first time. He only hopes Rimuru will let him punish the fools before he leaves to follow his lord's orders. As Ultima and Carrera wonder who the Dursleys are, however, for Shuna, Shion, and Chloe, and even Ranga, who have overheard a few conversations about Rimuru and have been sure to put the fear of God into the more dumb people. They know a bit of what happened and want nothing more than to do what Shion and Diablo did to Rita, only with it being a million times worse. Abuse. And abuse of Rimuru-sama before he could do anything. That is all they know, besides the fact that he suffered a death in their care, but the rage they have for that alone seem to know no bounds, so they all wait for Diablo to return and to see what is and what had became of the Dursleys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 39. The Dursleys are. Rimuru lays on his bed with a small slime ball in his hand, tossing it up and then catching it, repeating this over and over again as he waits for Diablo to come back with information about the Dursleys. Rimuru looks to the side, seeing Chloe brushing Ranga's fur, Shuna and Shion talking about clothing. That sends a shiver down Rimuru's non-existent spine, and Seal is back to being merged with Rimuru, for now becoming bored with the slime ball. Rimuru uses his universal thread. This catches the eyes of Ultima and Carrera as they watch what Rimuru does. Rimuru begins making shapes, one of Tokyo Tower, then one of the Eiffel Tower, and then one of the Statue of Liberty, then one of Big Ben. Then he becomes bored of this, luckily before he gets bored enough to turn into a slime and start bouncing around. Diablo has returned with some papers. Diablo. I've returned. Rimuru-sama. Rimuru. Finally. Diablo. Rimuru-sama, I've returned with the information you requested. Rimuru. Alright, let's hear it. Diablo. As it so happens, the adult Dursleys, Vernon and Petunia, are both dead. Rimuru. I'm sorry, what? Diablo. They're dead, and their son appears to have been in foster care for more than a year from the time frame. I'd say they were killed the day you would have turned 11 should you have lived in this world. Rimuru. That's... wow. Rimuru looks to the others who have paid attention to Diablo's report, probably looking for a way to make their lives a living hell for killing him in his first life, but now some of them don't know how to react. Veldora looks annoyed he won't get to do whatever he had planned, but is more than content to go back to his manga. That is right after he looks at Rimuru and gazing his reaction to the news. Rimuru. What caused their deaths? Diablo. A shooting. It appears they had just left the zoo for their son's birthday and had plans to go out to eat. As they arrived at the restaurant, as the paper says, Madman ran up and started shooting people. He was then taken into custody only after he ran out of bullets, and several deaths. Rimuru looks at Diablo completely in shock. This was not what he had been expecting at all. They've been dead and no one said anything. Rimuru. Well. Can't say I was expecting that news. Rimuru takes a moment to try and gather himself to say something. Rimuru. What do you say when you find out that your killer, former uncle, is dead? Rimuru opens his mouth to give a reply that is until there is some yelling outside the door. Rimuru looks to Diablo, who walks over to the door and opens it, seeing Dumbledore stand at the door with students who are arguing loudly down the hallway about something. Rimuru. Looks like some students just got in trouble. Walking out to Great Dumbledore, Rimuru can see the wall behind him is green. Rimuru. Oh yeah, definitely in trouble, Dumbledore. I thought it best to let you know that final task is tomorrow night. Please prepare yourself. Good day. Rimuru looks at Dumbledore, who simply turns around and leaves. Seal. Husband, his body far more stiff than before. Rimuru. Oh, something's gonna go down. He didn't even try to read my mind this time. Seal. Seal. Yes, Rimuru. Make sure to be on high alert for this task, all right? Seal. Yes, Chloe. So this is it then, the final task and then the end of the tournament, then we can go home. Rimuru closes the door, then turns to face Chloe. Rimuru. I wonder about that. Everyone looks to Rimuru, whose eyes aren't facing them but rather the door, wondering what's about to go down. Rimuru. So his body language, he didn't try to read my mind and he just told me about the task and left. He didn't even have to come here. Any ideas? Seal. Perhaps he believes you will die during this task and he wanted to subtly see if you were ready. Rimuru. But he didn't even attempt to read my mind. Rimuru sighs as he goes over to the bed and flood onto it. Rimuru. You said it was a maze, right, Chloe? Yes, Rimuru. Wonder if the mass will be enchanted to attack people or something. Letting his mind wander, Rimuru flips over and listens to the possible ideas everyone has about the maze. Let me know what you think in the comments. I myself don't much care for this chapter, but I had to put something out. Sorry about the long wait. Part 40. The final task begins. Rimuru walks around the castle, walking bored out of his mind, just trying to kill time until the final task begins, walking past a wall until Seal notifies him about something. Seal. Magic detected. Rimuru. What seal? The wall, it appears to be hiding something. Rimuru. I just found what we're doing today. Rimuru walks backwards. If anyone for love of Muggles music saw it would probably call him out for moonwalking as Rimuru turns and faces the wall. Rimuru. Let's open up what's hiding. Seal. Hi, and in about 3 minutes a door is revealed. Rimuru. Big door. Rimuru looks unimpressed as he enters the room, seeing junk piled up to the ceiling like people just walk in and throw stuff around here. Rimuru. What the hell? What is this, a dump for wizards? Rimuru stops himself from speaking another word as he feels something off. Rimuru. Seal. I felt it as well, Rimuru. So strange, there's definitely something dark in here. Rimuru glances down at his shadow. Rimuru. Ultima Carrera, come out here for a minute. The two demonesses poke their heads out of Rimuru's shadow before learning out of it and giving small bows to Rimuru. Ultima. You called us Rimuru-sama. Rimuru. Yeah, there's something here. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely dark, so we're gonna play a game to see who can find it first, and just in case anyone comes in here, I want you both to retreat back to my shadow or hide yourselves. Got it? Oh, but be sure to look for anything interesting. Who knows what else is in here. Carrera and Ultima. Hi, Rimuru-sama, and soon enough they all walk into different directions. Rimuru walks straight while Carrera goes left and Ultima goes right, all three looking around, well, all four counting Seal helping Rimuru. Carrera turns a corner before she stops in front of a Hogwarts uniform. Carrera. I've seen better with Ultima. She stops as she sees a glass with chocolate frogs moving around in it sitting on the floor. Ultima crouches down to watch them jump around, tilting her head confused by them until her eyes narrow and she looks up, seeing a case that looks like it holds something expensive. Meanwhile with Rimuru. Seal. Husband, no, Rimuru, but I want to. Seal. We do not even know how it works. The two married couple are arguing over Rimuru riding one of the 5 broomsticks he found until he hears Ultima calling out saying she found something as Rimuru lets out a disappointed sigh and rushes over Carrera doing the same. Rimuru. What did you find? Ultima points up on top of a pile of junk. Ultima. Up there, it's dark. I think it's a soul. Carrera. Why would a soul be here? Maybe you just making it up to get more praise. The two stare at each other as Rimuru shakes his head, sprouting wings and flying up to what Ultima pointed at and grabbing the box and opening it. Rimuru. A crown. Seal. I believe it's actually a diadem. Rimuru. Oh. It's definitely got something wrong with it. Eat it. I want you to see what the deal with it is. Seal. Hi. Rimuru eats it as Seal begins to examine it. Landing back on the ground, Rimuru gets both Carrera and Ultima to go back into his shadow before. Ultima. Rimuru-sama. Rimuru. What's up, Ultima? You said this was a game. Was there a prize? Rimuru. Oh shit, Rimuru. Yes, it was. Huh, ice cream. Ultima. Ice cream. With Rimuru-sama. Rimuru hesitantly nods as Carrera looks upset at the fact that she's not getting the prize while Rimuru is relieved that the two aren't fighting. Time skip. Rimuru is walking down the hallway and lets out a yawn before realizing that he should probably start heading to the last task. Rimuru puts his hands in his pockets and goes a bored look on his face. Time skip. Rimuru stands in front of the maze, the other champions lined up next to him. Veldora. Go go Rimuru, go go Rimuru. Shuna. Rimuru-sama, you can do this. Xian. Crush the competition. Rimuru-sama. Diablo. Is there any reason to doubt that Rimuru-sama will win? Chloe. Maybe go a little easy on them. Ranga. I don't understand what this is, but Master will be the victor. Yelling. That's what Rimuru hears, and somehow those six are the loudest, two of which aren't even yelling. Rimuru looks down to his shadow and for a split second he swears he sees Ultima and Carrera with Rimuru flags swinging them back and forth. Dumbledore. Champions ready. As Dumbledore says this, all the champions get ready and wait for the signal. Expect Rimuru, who looks like he's about to just walk into the maze. Rimuru. I get that it's a maze, but rushing in will only get you lost. Plus, I have the ever so lovely and useful Seal. Right, Seal? Seal. Hi, I will not fail you, husband. Unknown to Rimuru. Ciel's mental reaction to being called lovely is blocked. From him, Seal, if she had a body right now, would probably be giggling and blushing a storm all at the same time, while also giving a determined look. She will never fail her master, her love. She's been with him the longest. She will never allow herself to let him down. Once the signal is given, the wizard champions all rush in as Rimuru takes off in a light jog. Once they all enter the maze, Rimuru hears something, turning to see that the maze's entrance is closed. Rimuru. Well, that's unfortunate. Seal. For who exactly? Rimuru goes back to his jogging, turning a corner. Rimuru. Don't you already know it's unfortunate for the students? Who do you think I meant? I didn't mean us. Seal. I know, Rimuru. What did you wish to hear? How much faith I have in you. Seal. Perhaps. Rimuru chuckles at this and stops as he sees a dead end in front of him. Rimuru. Okay. Rimuru turns to see the maze had changed and now behind him is a dead end, as behind him to open up. Rimuru. Okay, first, that's bullshit. Second, that would be a pretty cool defense for Tempest. Not that we really needed, but still. Rimuru takes off jogging again, looking for a path he can take that can get him the way he wants to go rather than backtracking. As outside the maze, Moody watches Rimuru, his fake eyes spinning around as he takes out a flask and takes a big swig of what's in it. Part 41. Winner. Rimuru walks through the maze following Fuel's directions because of course he arrives in front of a sphinx. Sphinx. First, think of the person who lives in disguise, who deals in secrets and tells naught but lies. Next, tell me what's always the last thing to mend. The middle of middle and end of the end. And finally, give me the sound often heard during the search for a hard-to-find word. Now string them together and answer me this. Which creature would you be unwilling to kiss? Rimuru. A riddle. Sphinx. You may remain silent and I will allow you to leave. Answer correctly and you may pass unharmed. Answer with the wrong answer and I shall attack. Rimuru. Let's see, it seems to be referring to a seal. Spider. Rimuru. Alright, then I'll copy what you say. Rimuru. The answer is a spider, so judging from what I know and that riddle of yours, the big bad at the end of this maze guarding the cup is a acromantula. Sphinx. You may pass. Rimuru walks past, eyes still on the Sphinx just in case, and soon enough the Sphinx is no longer in Rimuru's direct line of sight. Rimuru continues walking. Rimuru. Acromantula. Those were the giant spiders, right? Seal. Yes, Rimuru. Seal. Husband. Rimuru. I know, no naming. Rimuru continues walking until the opening in front of him closes, leaving no opening to go through. Rimuru. Okay, this is getting old. The maze seems to move away from Rimuru. Case the acromantula appears as if having jumped from the other side. Rimuru. We really gonna do this? Rimuru receives no reply. Rimuru. Well, you're rude. Rimuru uses thought acceleration. Rimuru. I doubt they expect students to fight this thing. Wait, now that I think about it, isn't there a spell for stunning these things or something? Seal. Perhaps a opening exists to allow for escape. Rimuru. Mind having a look around? Seal. Hi. Seal. Found it directly behind the acromantula. The maze wall behind it is thinner enough for someone to get through. Rimuru. Huh, okay, then the conversation ends as does the though acceleration as the acromantula jumps towards Rimuru, who slides under it. Rimuru is now on the side he wants to be on and the acromantula is on the other. As it turns around it finds itself unable to move as strings have it trapped. Rimuru. Sorry, but I really don't have time to play with you. Don't worry, they'll disappear as soon as I'm gone. Rimuru smirks and moves through where Seal pointed him, appearing on the other side. Once he's in the other side, the acromantula drops to the ground. As Rimuru looks directly ahead, he sees the cup. It's not too close, but nice job and he'll get it. Rimuru. Looks like we have a winner. Rimuru takes a few steps before ducking as a spell goes flying past him. Rimuru looks up to see one of the students running for the cup. Rimuru. Oh no, you don't! Running after him. Rimuru lifts his hand and one more. The moonlight catches the universal thread. Rimuru quickly catches the student in his thread and had him up off the ground. What is this, Rimuru? My own brand of payback. Just stay there and try not to move too much. Don't want you getting cut. The student looks at Rimuru, worry clear in his eye. Rimuru. Well, later Rimuru goes to grab the cup. Wait. Why do you want to win? You don't even belong to this world anymore. This shouldn't mean anything to you. Rimuru. You're right, and it doesn't, but something about all this feels wrong, and I have a feeling if I win this and grab this cup I'll figure out why I was brought here. So later. Rimuru walks in front of the cup and right as he is about to grab it releases the student who tried to catch him but is too late as Rimuru grabs the cup and is teleported out. A port key? The cup was a port key? Part 42. Meeting in a graveyard. Rimuru's feet land softly on a patch of grass. Looking around, it appears that Rimuru has been brought to a graveyard. Welcome, Harry Potter, or should I say Rimuru Tempest. Rimuru looks to the right, seeing a snake-like man approaching him. Rimuru. Who are you? A shame, I thought you would know me, or perhaps your fame as completely overshadowed my own dying and coming back. Rather impressive honesty. You found a way to cheat death. Rimuru. Oh. So that's who you are. Voldemort. Yes, Lord Voldemort has returned, and it's all thanks to your first death, though it did take a while to break the protection over your coffin. I had even begun to believe that maybe you weren't actually dead, so I sent one of my loyal followers to put your name in the Goblet of Fire. Imagine my surprise. Then when you return and prove that you did in fact die, luckily the spells keeping your old body safe was also keeping your old body in a sort of stasis, so I was able to get what I needed. Rimuru. How good for you, Voldemort, and bad for you. Rimuru lets out a sigh before he raises his hand and points said hand behind him as universal thread shoots out, wrapping around a small puggy man as Rimuru looks at the snake-like eyes of Voldemort. Rimuru. So between being a killer/madman, you're also a grave robber and a coward who would rather relay on a sneak attack. Voldemort lets out a noise that sounds like a mix between a growl and a snake hissing as dark mist surrounds the three of them as men in black robes appear from the mist. Voldemort. I suppose I should clarify, he wasn't meant to kill you, he was meant to make sure you didn't try to leave. Rimuru. Like I'm going to do that, Voldemort. Bravery. Voldemort chuckles to himself as if recalling a fond memory. Voldemort. Your parents had it. To Rimuru raises an eyebrow, realizing that Voldemort is trying to get a rise out of him. Rimuru. Like I'm going to fall for that, Rimuru. So, are we going to keep talking or are we actually going to do something here? Voldemort. HMPH, very impatient, I wasn't expecting that. Voldemort lifts his hand as the body of Harry Potter behind to float and makes its way between the two of them. Rimuru. More mind games, Voldemort. It's eerie, isn't it, seeing your past in front of you? Shall I destroy it for you? Rimuru. Voldemort raises his wand and shoots out a spell right at the body before it hits Rimuru's shadow moves and Ultima and Carrera appear with Ultima basically bitch slapping Voldemort's spell always, causing it to fly into a Reaper-like headstone as it destroys the Reaper. Voldemort. Ultima. To attempt to destroy the body that once was Rimuru-sama. Carrera. You deserve to die horribly. A look of surprise and shock crosses Voldemort's face before he quickly masks it with the hope that no one saw it but Rimuru, Seal, Ultima and Carrera all noticed it. Voldemort. It appears you had a trick hidden, Rimuru. Ultima, could you bring my old body here for a minute? Voldemort, irritated at being annoyed, begins to raise his wand once more, before deciding to see what is about to happen. Ultima. Hi. Ultima gently lifts the body of Harry Potter and behind, walking towards Rimuru as Rimuru lifts his hand up once Ultima is in front of Rimuru and stores the body in his stomach. Shocking everyone save for the two demonesses and Seal. Seal. Notice foreign soul is in the body, shall I destroy? Rimuru. A foreign soul Seal. Yes Rimuru. Is it like me, someone who died and reincarnated? Only they got a used body. Seal. No, it appears to have a connection to Voldemort. I believe it is a Horcrux. Rimuru. Wait. I had a Horcrux in me. Destroy it Seal, right away. And in an instant Voldemort takes a step back as he feels like one of his Horcruxes had been destroyed. Rimuru. Ultima. Carrera. I'll leave those robe-wearing idiots to you two. The snake boy is mine. Before anything, a sound catches the three's attention as they all jump out of the way of a snake that leapt at them. Rimuru watches as the snake hisses at him and the other two. Rimuru. All right, change of plans. The snake and the snake man are mine. Ultima and Carrera nod and immediately take off to go handle the robe-wearing idiots, as Rimuru put it, leaving Rimuru alone with Voldemort and his pet snake. Voldemort. You think those two girls can handle my followers? Followers of the most powerful Dark Lord to ever exist. Rimuru. Dark Lord, huh? Well, to be perfectly honest, I myself was. Well, kinda still am a Demon Lord. Actually, I kinda like the sound of that Dark Lord versus Demon Lord. Rimuru smiles a bit as Voldemort sneers. Rimuru. So, shall we begin? For the first time Rimuru begins to let loose a bit of his magical energy since coming here, and for the first time since regaining his body Voldemort begins to feel nervous. Sorry if this isn't too good, kinda tired writing this, but please let me know what you think in the comments. Part 43. Battle Dark Lord vs Demon Lord. Rimuru jumps as a spell hits a tombstone that was behind him, landing back on the ground with a smirk as Voldemort growls. Rimuru jumps to the side as Voldemort's pet snake tries to bite him again. Rimuru. So question, what's with the snake? Does it have a name? Voldemort, instead of answering, shoots another killing curse at Rimuru, practically screaming the name of his favorite spell. Rimuru leans back as the spell flies past him. Rimuru. Why do you keep saying I want a banana? Do I look like I am going to give you food? Rimuru avoids the snake and a spell once more. Rimuru. Wow. He's not very talkative, is he? Rimuru dodges another spell and kicks the snake away. Rimuru. And what's is this guy saying? I swear it's I want a banana, but I don't remember a spell like that. Seal. Answer, he is saying Avada Kedavra. It is the killing curse, one of 3 unforgivable curses. Although he does appear to be saying it in an odd tone. Rimuru. So even my partner was confused by the way he's saying it. Seal. False, my confusion was just your imagination. Rimuru sighs as his flips onto a headstone and leaps off it, avoiding another spell, landing on the ground with a bored look. Rimuru. Hey. I don't mean to be rude, but are you even trying right now? Voldemort lets out a scream as he sends another spell at Rimuru, who looks annoyed as he simply lifts his right hand up as a black cloud comes out and devours the spell. Rimuru. Look, I'm getting tired of this, and you look like you've seen better days, Snake Boy. Voldemort flinches at seeing what just happened to his spell as he also gains a look of irritation at the way Rimuru is talking to him. Now seeing Rimuru close his eyes, Voldemort looks ready to snap before forcing himself to calm down. Idea comes to Voldemort's mind. Voldemort. I'll make him mad and have him make a mistake. Voldemort. You're as annoying as your father. No. If I were to say who you remind me more of, it would be your filthy mud-blood mother. You both have annoying voices and don't know your places. Rimuru's eyes narrow at this. Rimuru. Can't say I agree, I never met her. Besides, I lived another life since then, so I don't know if I can really say she's my mom. Still, something about you saying that pisses me off. A multicolored aura surrounds Rimuru, making Voldemort flinch at the intense pressure coming from Rimuru before it disappears and a smirk appears on Rimuru's face. Rimuru. Yeah. That's perfect. Rimuru lifts his hands up, all fingers out. Rimuru. Take 10. I'm going to count to 5. Then I'll kill your snake. Then I'll count to 5 again. After that, you die. That said, if you attack me before I'm done, you both die. Without that 10 Seiko. Voldemort launches a spell at Rimuru, hitting him square in the jaw as Rimuru's head snaps back before Rimuru brings his head back down as a strong sense of fear comes over Voldemort. Rimuru. Looks like you don't want that 10 seconds. Rimuru raises his hand, catching the snake just before it bite him as the same black mass that devoured Voldemort's spell devours the snake. Rimuru. Seal. Kill the snake please, Seal. High Voldemort almost stumbles as he feels another Horcrux be destroyed. Voldemort. What is he? He's been playing this entire time. He's some sort of monster. Rimuru appears in front of Voldemort with his right hand pulled back, swinging his fist at Voldemort. Rimuru hits Voldemort square in the jaw, forcing Voldemort's head to the side, and a crack is heard as Rimuru begins to brutally beat Voldemort down as Voldemort eventually takes so many punches his face is bruised and bloody. He also can no longer hold on to consciousness as his wand falls to the ground. The only thing holding Voldemort up now is Rimuru's grip on his robes. Rimuru. Guess wizards don't really fight hand to hand. Rimuru lifts up his hand that's not holding Voldemort as Voldemort is devoured as well. Seal. Report. I am now able to destroy the remaining Horcruxes now thanks to the consumption of Voldemort. Shall I do so? Rimuru. Do it, Seal. Hi, and with this order Voldemort's soul ceases to exist. Rimuru. Hey Ultima Carrera, you two done playing over there? Ultima happily runs up to Rimuru. Ultima. Yay, we just finished. They're still alive as well. What should we do with them? Rimuru. Well, we can't really let them go with what they've seen, but I don't think we can just keep them either. There's a few high up after all. Okay, I've got it. Time skip. Rimuru appears back at the entrance to the maze with the cup. Rimuru. I got the cup. Rimuru raises the Triwizard Cup in the air as cheers erupt as people begin to stand and clap alongside, screaming their lungs out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Part 44. Back home. After the cheering, Rimuru is pulled by the arm by Moody into his office. Moody. Tell me, boy, what was it like to win the tournament you took a but getting back? Did anything happen? Moody turns his back to Rimuru and begins to go through a few things as Rimuru and Seal immediately realize what this is. A smirk appears on Rimuru's face. Rimuru. Oh yes. A snake thought it would try and bite me. Moody turns around quickly as Rimuru no longer has a smirk on his face and is looking at Moody calmly. Moody. I see. So then by snake you mean Rimuru, a Dark Lord everyone thought was dead. Moody's lips twitches slightly. Moody. I see, and Moody's head jerks to the side as he begins to search for something. Moody. In the graveyard. Was there anyone else in the graveyard? Rimuru. How could you know I was in a graveyard? Moody. Surely you're not stupid enough to have not been able to figure out what this is or who it was to have put your name in the goblet of fire, and imagine what my lord will say when he hears that I have killed Y. Boom! The door flies off its hinges as another spell flies into Moody, sending him into a chair as Rimuru looks to the side and sees Dumbledore, McGonagall and Snape all walk through the door surrounding Moody. Dumbledore immediately behind to question Moody, who begins to change as Rimuru looks over to the chest in the corner of the room, which begins to shake. Rimuru. Oh. So that's where you were. Rimuru walks up to the chest as the teachers and the now revealed fake Moody watch him. Rimuru kicks the lid off the chest as it flies into the wall. Rimuru. You okay down there? The real Moody, who is in the chest, looks up at Rimuru, who sticks his hand down as thread shoots out just far enough that Moody can grab a hold of it. Rimuru. Grab it and don't let go. Moody does so as Rimuru brings him up with Moody now out of the cage. Rimuru looks back at the others. Rimuru. You guys got this right. I need to get ready to head home. See ya. With a wave goodbye, Rimuru walks out the door heading back to his temporary room, but halfway through Rimuru meets the others. Chloe. Rimuru-sensei, where did you go? Shuna. Did something happen? Rimuru-sama. Rimuru. I had something to take care of. By the way, we should get everything that's ours around. We'll be leaving soon. All. Hi, as they all make their way back to the room and begin getting ready to leave as Dumbledore sends a student to tell Rimuru that Dumbledore would like to talk to him. Rimuru soon arrives at Dumbledore's office as the Gryffindor staircase allows Rimuru to walk up it. After Rimuru says the password, having to meet with Dumbledore so many times, Seal memorized the password for Rimuru. Rimuru. You called for me. Rimuru opens the door and enters Dumbledore's office. As the two look into each other's eyes, Rimuru feels a something trying to enter his mind, and Seal sighs, irritated at this happening again. Dumbledore. A feeling of death comes down on Dumbledore, who looks shocked, fear in his eyes as an aura surrounds Rimuru, and the feeling of that Dumbledore is experiencing increases. Rimuru. I've had enough of your attempts to get into my head. My secrets and everything I know are not for you. Understand this, old man. I'm leaving soon, so I have no reason to hold myself back anymore. I won't have to worry about people's opinion here anymore. As the color leaves Dumbledore's face, his eyes widen as he realizes all his attempts to get into Rimuru's head Rimuru knew about, and the only reason Rimuru didn't do anything then was because he was stuck here. Fear, that's all Dumbledore is feeling, fear of a being who is producing a aura so powerful Dumbledore would think he's a god, fear that he's been too pushy and is now going to die for it, fear of death, something he would be ready for if it came to it, yet now. This pressure coming off Rimuru has him rethinking every decision he's ever made, and then nothing, the feeling of fear disappeared and the aura and pressure along with it, or perhaps it's the other way around, that the feeling of fear disappeared because the aura and pressure disappeared. Rimuru. Now let's have a talk, no underhanded tactics from you, understand? Dumbledore nods, sweat still pouring off his forehead. Dumbledore. Of course You have my apologies for trying to get into your head. Rimuru. Don't just tell me what you want, Dumbledore. I wish to ask you to stay. Voldemort likely escaped after your battle and we need you to stop. Rimuru. Stop right there. Voldemort is dead. I killed him and I got rid of his Horcruxes so you don't need to worry about that. However, I want something from you. Dumbledore. My boy, I'm sure you think you killed him, but he's slippery. Rimuru. Oh, for the love of, do you want me to prove it? Rimuru drops Voldemort's broken wand onto the ground as it rolls to a stop just at Dumbledore's feet. Rimuru. If that's not proof enough, then I have a few more things. Dumbledore's eyes widen at this statement, shocked that maybe Voldemort really is dead. If that's the case, could what Rimuru know? Could what Harry came back with all this power, the knowledge of another world, be the power Voldemort knows not? If that's the case, maybe just one more try to look into Rimuru's head wouldn't hurt. Dumbledore looks into Rimuru's eyes but quickly backs out of this idea. Dumbledore. I see, and what is it you want? Rimuru raises his hand as a dark cloud extends to the floor as it soon dissipates, leaving behind the body of Harry Potter. Rimuru. Be sure to let this me have a good burial. Alright, I'd rather my old body not get stolen again. Dumbledore nods his head, understanding how that could upset someone. Rimuru. Alright, I think we're done here. See ya. Rimuru turns and leaves, leaving Dumbledore with a dead body of a boy he let down years ago. The next day, Rimuru is standing in the room he's been staying in for this entire tournament, thinking. Luckily there's now one to interrupt his thoughts, as the only one with him right now is Seal, as Ultima and Carrera went with Diablo to pick up the things out of the Potter vault and Manners after Seal brought it to Rimuru's attention that he somehow still had Manners and accounts. Rimuru. Wonder what it would have been like if I hadn't died that night. Seal hugs Rimuru from behind, having separated just for this. Seal. We may not have been brought together. It may sound selfish of me, husband, but I am happy to be a part of you. Rimuru grabs a hold of Ciel's arms and pulls out of the hug so he can turn around as his arms wrap around Ciel, and he pulls her close, and he is now holding a blushing Ciel at the closeness of their faces. Rimuru. It may be strange, but I'm happy I died too. 'Cause if I didn't I wouldn't have what I have now, and as for being selfish, Ciel. Do you mind if I'm selfish for a moment? Ciel looks up at Rimuru as Rimuru brings his face closer to Ciel as she brings her face closer, their lips a mere inch apart before the door flies open with Veldora, who apparently went to Japan to get any manga he could. Rimuru and Ciel glare at Veldora, who sweat drops. Veldora. Am I interrupting something? Both. Yes. Veldora. Oh, others are ready when you are. A sigh from both Rimuru and Ciel as the two let go of one another. Time skip. Rimuru stand outside of the school, a portal ready for them as they are ready to leave as students and teachers surround the group, all of them saying goodbye. Rimuru. Weird, didn't really interact with any of them. Why the hell are they acting so sad? Ciel. Likely because they just got the boys who lived back and he is now leaving again. Rimuru sighs at this. Rimuru. You've got to be kidding me. That's when two people come running through the crowd. Rimuru looks at the two, being serious, and Remus serious. Wait, please let me come along. Remus. Yes, he means this. Rimuru. You do realize my world is a lot different, right? You may not like it there, and if you do come and don't like it, you won't be able to just leave. Serious. We weren't there for you when we should have been. Please let us go. Rimuru. Well. Rimuru sighs to himself. Rimuru. What do you think, Seal? Will this affect the time difference like it did for me and Chloe and technically you? Seal. I do not believe so because it was an incomplete summoning spell that called us here. Rimuru. So Seal. Let them come. Giving a mental nod, Rimuru looks at Sirius and Remus. Rimuru. Fine, you guys can come, just behave and don't freak out. Both right, Rimuru. And you don't do anything too crazy there either, just trust me on this. Dumbledore. Rimuru looks to Dumbledore. Dumbledore. I am sorry. For everything. Rimuru. Sigh, it's a little late for apologizes. But I'll accept it. So don't worry too much about it well later. And with this they leave through the portal, which closes once on the other side. Back in Tempest, Rimuru is happy to be home as everyone is celebrating at his return as well as the return of the others. Remus. Rimuru. Yeah, what's up, Remus? Where exactly are we? Rimuru. The Jura Tempest Federation, the main city named Rimuru. Basically think of it as a kingdom with me as a king, a place where monsters and humans can live together. Sirius. What is this? Sirius holds up a mask that looks like Rimuru's slime form. Rimuru. Oh, it's just me. Rimuru then turns into a slime, shocking both Sirius and Remus. Rimuru. Sorry to keep it a secret, but I'm a slime. Don't worry though, I'm not a bad slime. Slurp. Sirius passes out and Remus is in complete shock. Rimuru. Hey Rigard, can you show these two around? Oh, and Remus, be sure to tell Sirius he has to work. Got it, and you do as well later. Rimuru then leaves as everyone who was stuck in the otherworld stretch and begin to do what is expected of them, except for Chloe, who has other plans. Chloe. I'm going to go get some lunch. That's what Rimuru hears before he escapes back to his own home, sitting on the couch as a slime before something separates from Rimuru and picks him up, seeing Seal in human form. Rimuru. Seal. May we continue where we left off now that we are alone? Rimuru turns into his human form. Rimuru. You're being pretty bold, aren't you? Rimuru smiles as he brings Seal close. Seal. Perhaps. And with this the two lean in close before their lips collide in a passionate kiss as Rimuru holds Seal close and Seal hugs Rimuru even tighter, bringing him closer to her as well. Unknown to the two of them, or rather unknown to Rimuru but known to Seal, a stray Veldora is sneaking away. Veldora. I'll just come back later. Ciel's voice echoes through Veldora head. Seal. You are not to come back for the rest of the day, and you are to keep others away as well, understood? Veldora jumps at the sudden voice in his head, but also in fear of what may happen if he fails to follow these orders, and so Veldora immediately gets ready to keep everyone away even if he must fight to do it, while on the inside a giddy Seal and Rimuru have fallen onto the couch but still hold the other tightly home at last, but even more at home in each other's arms. The end. God, that's cheesy and kinda bad, but screw it, let me know what you think in the comments. Special proposal, a special made by my bored, tired brain, hope you like it. Rimuru is sitting in his office leaning back in his chair, left alone, no paperwork left to do, and so it's here he begins to think. Rimuru. Hey Seal. Yes Rimuru. Could you not read my thoughts for a day? There's something I want to think about privately. Seal. But husband, am I not your partner? Have I perhaps done something wrong? Please let me fix whatever mistake I have made and continue to help you. Rimuru. No, stop, you've done nothing wrong. It's a surprise for you, but I don't want you reading my thoughts as I've had hell keeping it from you, so please do this for me. Seal. Sad. Alright Rimuru. Don't be too sad, I promise you'll be happy when it happens. Seal and Rimuru end up reaching agreement, and Seal stops herself from reading Rimuru thoughts just as Diablo enters the room. Rimuru. Diablo, what are you doing here? Diablo. Well Rimuru-sama, I thought back to when you introduced me to the old wizard Dumbledore and decided I shall do my utmost to truly be one hell of a butler. However, all I have managed to so far is handle preparing tea for you as well as some food. I also cleaned both your home and every room here save for this room, as not to interrupt you. Rimuru. Well. Damn Rimuru. That's impressive. I'll have the tea and snack, but I got some stuff I need to take care of after. Diablo gives a small bow, getting Rimuru both his meal and drink. Shuna. Rimuru-sama, I brought your. Shuna stares at Diablo, her eyes narrowing, seeing Diablo giving Rimuru food and tea. Rimuru. You didn't tell Shuna, did you? 5 seconds later, Rimuru is sneaking out as Diablo is being told off by Shuna for taking one of her favorite jobs, making it to the outside. Rimuru sighs to himself, now allowing himself to think more about what to say. Serious. Hey Rimuru, over here Rimuru. Sigh, damn it. Rimuru. Hey, how's it going Remus? Well enough, we've just met up for lunch, why don't you join us? Rimuru. Well, I would like to really, but I got something I gotta do. Serious. Can't even have a lunch break Rimuru. Sorry, but it's really important to me, I'll see y'all later. Rimuru takes off running, avoiding everyone who would stop him to talk, as what he's thinking about is too important. Hours later, Rimuru has found the perfect place. The sun is setting and he has just enough time to say what he wants to and get his answer, as well as several flowers around. Rimuru can say for sure this place is beautiful. Rimuru. Seal, can you come out please? Seal separates from Rimuru, turning to face him as she looks into his eyes with a small yet loving smile. Rimuru swears he blushes. Rimuru. Seal. You really are the best, you know that. Seal looks at Rimuru as Rimuru continues. Rimuru. Not only that, you're my partner, the partner who's been with me longer than anyone else, and you're always trying to help me. You know I wouldn't have gotten anything done if it wasn't for you. Seal. I do not believe that. You would have found a way to do it all even without me. Rimuru. You say that, but I for one don't believe it. Having you by my side, I don't think in any of my lives have I been happier, which is why I want to ask you to. Well, I want you to marry me. Seal looks surprised before she speaks. Seal. We are already married. Rimuru. Well, yay, but I mean we should have a ceremony for all to see, so that everyone knows who my heart belongs to and who it will always belong to, so, will you? Seal swears. She blushes, but she also smiles brightly as the setting sun in the background seems to, in Rimuru's eyes, make Seal even more beautiful. Seal. Yes husband, let's have a wedding. Rimuru looks shocked then happy, and finally he's holding Seal and spinning before stopping as the two stare into each other's eyes. Seal. Husband. As far as I'm concerned, we are already married and will be married for eternity, but I admit my desire for the others to know that my husband is taken and is happy, and as you have said, your heart belongs to me. For me, my heart and soul belong to you. The two stare into each other's eyes before their faces begin to move closer inch by inch, before finally a kiss, one that feels like it lasts for eternity and one that they don't want to break. But Seal has a question, so reluctantly she pulls away, and so does Rimuru. Seal. Husband. From looking at your memories, isn't there supposed to be a ring? Rimuru. Look at your finger. Seal does so, seeing a beautiful ring on her finger as she looks back up at Rimuru, seeing a smug smile, not one to be beat. Seal kisses Rimuru again, then pulls away in the distraction, putting a ring on his finger as Rimuru notices now it's Seal's turn to be smug.